And we're live! Welcome everybody, my name is Nate, you are watching WASD20. We are going to be playing some Dungeons & Dragons today. This is 5th edition, and got some great players with me here today. The adventure we have is the Song of Deltana, and this takes place in my homebrew setting, which is kind of just getting off the ground. I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves. Don't introduce your characters yet, guys. I'll let you do that in the end. But introduce yourselves, and I'll let you plug anything, channel, website, whatever you want. Why don't we start with Aaron?
Okay. Hey, my name is Aaron Van Sock. I have a YouTube channel that I use rarely these days, but if you look ADVS Productions, you might find it that way. Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would prefer to plug here is the Brigade After Dark. I'm an admin on that page, and so if you aren't a member of the RPG Brigade, look for the After Dark Brigade, where you can talk about more sensitive topics. So there you go.
Yep, cool place. All right, why don't we go next to Ben?
Hey, I'm Ben Labelle, Canadian-born. One of my first times playing 5e online. Looking forward to it. No YouTube channels yet. Just getting started.
Awesome, dude. All right, and next in my view is Carl.
Oh, okay. Hello everyone. I'm Carl, and my fledgling channel is D20+1. Not sure what else to plug there at this time. It's a pretty new channel that's got, I believe, 31 subscribers, so every little bit helps, guys.
Yeah, goes up to him. He has some live plays too, one of which I got to play in a couple weeks ago, and that was fun. All right, next up we have Kirk.
My name is Kirk. I run PhD and DE on YouTube, and I also do a lot with the Brigade and everything. I think this is actually my first official time playing in a game that was organized through the one-shot group, though. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've actually played in one organized through the one-shot group, so it's a first for me.
Cool. Well, good stuff. All right, so I'll read our little setup here. And I'm going to be, let's see, show you our narrator here. If I can figure this out. There we go. Elevator music. Thank you. There we go. Okay. So, here is your narrator. A ragtag group of travelers prepares for the last leg of their journey. For various reasons, they've agreed to help transport a relic from the Temple of Deltana, goddess of music and air, in Redmire, to the larger Temple of Deltana in the city of Marinth. Marinth is a week's journey on horseback from Redmire, and our heroes have stopped in a small village inn for their last night before arriving at the white gates of Marinth. They have had shadows along the way, and they have been wary. Their mission was a secret, and only a few knew. Yet the heroes cannot help but feel they have been watched. Still, they are so close to the delivery of the relic. All right, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and describe. We are waking up. It is morning at the inn. It is still dark out, actually. And your narrator there is a priest of Deltana, an old wizened priest who has been accompanying you and carrying the relic himself. His name is Odaris. And he raps on your doors quite earlier than you expected, and says, "We should get an early start. We should get an early start. Come on, rouse yourselves." And it's still dark outside, and he goes down, apparently to prepare your the belongings, the wagon, and leaves you to prepare for the day. What are your characters doing? And we'll go in reverse order this time. Kirk, why don't you tell us who your character is and how is he preparing for the day? What is he doing here in the inn?
Let's see. My character is Theron. Theron is a half-elf who stands about 5'9", and in appearance-wise, he's got dark brown hair. It's messy. It's matted. He's got braids. He's got beads, rope, feathers. He has tattoos on the side of his face and down his arm, but he's also wearing bits and pieces of what look like tree bark and pieces of hide, kind of woven together with more rope. And as he kind of dons his gear, he's looking out the window trying to find the moon, but he doesn't see it. But it's almost staring out as if he's hearing some kind of music, music that others may not hear, sort of a language older than words, as he calls it. And he thinks about the animals, the plants, kind of feels the wind, knowing that everything comes from it and everything returns to it. Just kind of contemplating exactly why he's here at this point. But he realizes he's donned all of his equipment and it's time for action, so he heads downstairs.
Very good. All right, next up, Carl. Introduce your character to us and tell us what he's doing.
All right. My character is Chen Ming, and he is a man who, at first glance, you can definitely tell he's been on this earth for quite a while. He's definitely in his mid to late 70s, heavily wrinkled, heavily scarred. As you see him kind of stretching and slowly climbing out of bed, you see deep, long, jagged scars, pink scars in his back, and he kind of stretches and creaks and groans like an old oak tree in the breeze. And you see he tries to stretch and touch his toes, and it's as if he's reaching for the hand of a fallen ally to try and keep them from falling over a ledge, but he can't quite reach as far as he used to, and you see him almost wincing in pain as he tries to overexert himself just to stretch like he did in the olden days. And he kind of groans and in defeat and slumps back down. You see him take out a beaten up copper flask and take a solid drink from it before he kind of shuffles into his black cloak and puts the hood up over his balding head.
I was muted there, sorry. Awesome. Very good. Next up we have Ben.
Yeah, first thing Malorith does when waking up is go to the window, look up at the sky, looks at the clouds, and starts praying to his god Talos, god of storms. Not hoping for a storm, but hoping that the day would not bring anything deadly. Next thing is he dons on his armor, puts up his cape, puts up the hood of the cape to hide his horns, mainly because he doesn't want to scare anyone. Next thing he does is mutter under his breath a few little things. Nothing specific, just little curses, mainly at the people who killed his wife. Praying for revenge, making sure that they'll get everything dead. And starts walking downstairs hoping for a good breakfast.
Very good. Excellent. All right, lastly, Aaron.
Oh, sorry. Gonzalez Zrashkal, the Dragonborn. Bronze scales up and down his body, matching robes, rather ruddy. cheap things, things that are easily afforded on a teacher's salary. He is a historian. He is a man of scholarly pursuits, and a wizard. And he seems to be thumbing through pages of a book, an old bound book, a leather-bound book, something about the local history, the local lore and history of this area, this valley, this river valley. And he's thumbing through it and looking for references to Deltana and her rituals and her like her presence in this area. And he's just thumbing this by the candlelight, looking intently, wrapped up everything. In fact, at one point, somebody in the inn bumps into him, and he seems to not be any of the wiser. A barmaid comes by and asks him what he will have, and he just mumbles to himself, "No, that can't be it. No, I don't believe that's right. Sorry, what?" And the barmaid is gone, and that is what he's doing.
Excellent. Awesome. You guys can all take a point of inspiration for those great descriptions there. Let's start us off on a high note there. All right. As you are all getting ready, you also are all four struck by a memory, just a vague memory from last night. For some reason, you arrived at this inn quite late, partially because it's a very small hamlet, 3 or 4 houses. This is the only business, and maybe a couple farms in the surrounding area. And you know that with a tiefling and a dragonborn, you wouldn't want to startle any of these country bumpkins. So you arrived quite late, hooded. The priest traveling with you, Odaris, he has given you all white robes with blue trim, and they're very cheaply made, simply to cover you up and to make you look as if you are on this journey. It's sort of almost a disguise, as if you are traveling monks and clerics of the goddess, Deltana. You arrive quite late, and you have a vague recollection of sitting around the fire, the hearth, in this tiny inn. And you may or may not have been curious and asking, I believe certainly that, is it Grizalis?
Grizalis, yeah.
Grizalis, certainly. And perhaps Theron as well would have been curious and probably even asked many times what exactly this relic was. It's been in a small wooden box, and the priest has told you he does not have the key to this box, and that it is of the utmost secrecy. But last night, you remember, he gathered you around and he pulled out that key, and he opened the box, and out of it he took a book, a small leather-bound volume, and it is in very poor shape. As he opens it, many of the pages are simply loose in there. And it has scrawlings that he says he cannot understand. He says, "This book was rumored to have contained the lost histories of Deltana. There is still so much mystery. Yet, unfortunately, it only contains these scratches, I am told, are musical notes. I know music." And he reaches into his cloak and he pulls out a flute and he plays a little melody very, very briefly, as you well know. But these are notes I cannot read. But I am told that Mother Elaine of the temple, the high priestess of the temple of Deltana in Marinth, knows things that others do not. She is but half, maybe third my age, and yet they say Deltana favors her with great wisdom. Perhaps she can decipher this code and give us the song. And this is kind of going through your memory. And yeah, now you are getting ready. And as you are preparing, all of a sudden you hear the clash of steel. And you hear crying out. And you don't know what's happened, but you hear a great commotion from out in the yard. The small clearing with the inn and just a few houses. What would you like to do?
Well, the first thing that you would all probably see is that while this, so he's just finished his story, and you notice that Grizalis was absolutely enwrapped in what he was saying. I mean, he was looking at the book with utter awe and almost covetous of what was in his hand. As he was sitting at the table, with his sort of long, sort of draconic claws, he was sort of nervously scratching at the table, and he's left a bit of quite a divot within the table, and the wood shavings have compiled between his fingernails to the point, and he seems, and once the priest Odaris has moved on, he seems to still be looking in the direction where the book once was, looking at a shadow. And as all of this commotion is going on, all of this battle and frenzy, he seems to just continue to look in the distance as if he doesn't hear it at all, continuing to get wood shavings underneath his claws.
Yeah, and if you guys want to add anything else, like what you may have been doing, that's cool. During the description of what happened the previous night, or we can move ahead to the present. But either way.
I would probably say that the sound of steel clashing would almost bring Chen to a flashback of his own, of remembering almost nearly, it must have been 30 years ago, that the time that he lost his wife and that he was left for dead. And it's just chilling, almost a post-traumatic memory. And it's been a good long time since he's been in a fight, but he's none too willing to jump into this fray.
All right.
Yeah, Malroot as well, remembering a few days ago when strangers broke into his house, raped and killed his wife. He would probably take out his mace and his throwing axe and walk towards the door, see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Theron's sitting there. He's not quite as willing to jump up and kind of head out, but seeing that a couple of the others are on alert, he kind of leans on this, looks like a gnarled staff that's sharpened completely at one end. He kind of leans up and just kind of slowly follows the others to see what exactly is going on now.
All right. So as you guys, if those of you who have peeked out and exited, you would see Odaris on the ground with an arrow sticking out of his, a very rough-looking arrow, sticking out of his, like his side. It does not look mortal. And he looks at you and he says, "Quickly! You must hurry! They've taken the relic!" And he kind of winces in pain. And you can see the cart and the horses. He had been preparing the cart and the horses there. And in the distance, you see, it's still fairly dark out, but you do see figures running across a clearing toward a forest where you know there is a dock. This town, in fact, is called Farrell's Dock. And this is a dock on the Stoneglow River, which actually the town of Redmire, where you started, is also on the Stoneglow River. So you've been kind of tracing its path here and there and returning to the river, and this is the main dock. And they are running that direction.
Good. Do I see the guy that's holding the relic?
You cannot see the relic. You can only see dark shapes about, I would say, 100 feet off.
Okay. I would cast command to stop to the lead person to make him stop in his tracks.
Okay. Yep. And
it's a spell save 12.
okay. Oh, that's right. I'm going to be rolling. Yep. I forgot. Dice stream. Hiya. Although maybe I should go with that. It was a 3.
Okay.
Already breaking the rules.
Ah, look at that!
It's a 3 anyway.
Oh, man.
So the individual
the dice
stops
gods
in
have
his track.
spoken.
So, yeah, he definitely fails that save, and he stops. So there are a group. You can't quite tell how many, but there are several. And this one in particular stops dead in his tracks, and the others kind of look back, like, and you can hear yelling, just rough voices yelling in another language, but the rest keep running, and this one is just standing there, absolutely stopped.
Right. So
At this point, Odaris reaches up and says, "Here, I got a shot at one with my quarterstaff," and he reaches up and he hands you a bow, and the bow has leather wrapped around it, and it has carving in it that looks pretty rough, and he reaches up to hand it to whoever would take it, and this is a long bow.
Okay. I would definitely not be the one taking it. I have no proficiency with it, or low dexterity, so leave it to somebody else in the party.
Other than the bow going on, so you hear so Grisalis hears sort of in the back of his mind. He hears as he's staring off into the distance, back in the tavern. He hears the priest say, they took the relic, and he hears this sort of echoing through his mind. At which point he kind of gets up, he's at attention at this point, and he growls with an animalistic fury, and sort of pulls himself from his trance and runs towards the scene. He probably comes in right as he sees the command spell come into effect, and he'll go to the side of the priest. Does he look? Is he dying? Or is he just injured?
No, in fact, the innkeeper has come, and he is already sort of tending the wound, and
Okay.
and trying to handle him. And he says, "We'll get you help. We'll get you help." And I just realized I totally forgot. I'll just take this opportunity to say I'm pretty new to this, and there will be rules errors. So all you rules lawyers out there, brace yourself. But these guys know the rules pretty well, and they'll be helping me out here and there. And then when in doubt, we'll just BS our way through it, and we'll still have fun. So, but I just realized I forgot. Roll initiative, everybody.
Gotcha. So, that's right. Yeah, dice stream.
We had a spell cast, and I should have done it when he did that.
Well, not 20.
Nice. All right, so this is Ben. I'm assuming he's going to be first here.
Would you like us to put the results in the chat, or would you like us to say our results verbally?
Yeah, you can put them in the chat. That works.
Okay.
The chat, in case you guys don't know, I think you're probably familiar with it. It's that blue button in the upper left. All right. So wait, who's Scott? What is this? Oh, that must be a.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Who is that masked man?
And by the
There's
way,
a good story.
when I shouted my command, I was using my cantrip as well as mock turkey to boom my voice 3 times louder.
Okay. Is that a Yeah, I guess sure we'll go with that. I don't know if you can cast 2 spells at once unless it's like one is a bonus action or something. All right, but we'll go with it. It adds good flavor. I like it.
I think command is automatically loud, isn't it?
Yeah, it's loud, but I can bring it up even higher with tomography.
Okay.
That way everyone could hear it in the tavern and everything,
All right.
mainly.
So I'm going to say that, Ben, you have already gone. And now, so is it Malaroot? Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, Malaroot.
Yep. And then Theron would be next in initiative order.
As I'm kind of walking out, kind of side by side with Grizz, I didn't call him that though. I'm going to, if I don't see anybody else kind of reaching for what Odaris is handing out, I'm gonna grab that as I kind of pick up to a full run, kind of towards these guys.
All right. And this is going to be, for your knowledge, a longbow +1 to attack.
Okay.
All right.
And how far away are these guys?
So they're about 100 feet away.
Okay. Are they within range of this new thing that I've picked up?
I believe a bow is, 120 feet without disadvantage, right?
I do believe so.
Yeah.
Sounds right to me.
We'll go with that. So yeah.
All right, and I don't think I'm proficient, so I'm gonna still attempt to kind of loose a shot at them. Not entirely sure what I'm doing with it.
All right. Go ahead.
And I think that's gonna come to an 18.
Yep, that is a hit.
Okay, he kind of
And that
fires
would
one of these, and the
Yep.
damage on that is what?
1d8 plus dex.
Two.
Okay.
So he kind of fires off a squirrely shot, and he's kind of surprised at how close it actually got to them. But he keeps on moving in their direction, seeing that Odaris is receiving help.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, one of your arrows certainly pierces the armor of one of these running fools. Next up, we have Grizalis.
All right. So Grizalis is going to see that. You said that there was our horses and our wagon was prepared already. It was already outside. Is it ready to go?
Yes, it is. I would say in game you do know that these guys are. Your character would know that they're heading the direction of the dock, which is very close.
Gotcha. So far there's been somebody has been commanded to stop. Another person has been shot with an arrow, and there's still like sort of a mass of people about 100 feet away.
Yes, just a small group. Yep, you can't really tell how many. You would probably guess somewhere between 4 and 10. It's yeah, it's pretty dark still.
Right. All right. So you hear so as if 1 second, I gotta let this dog out of here.
No problem.
By the way, do we see a boat or anything with that?
You can't see the dock from here. It is in this little wooded area that they are running towards, and they're getting fairly close to the wooded area.
All right. So Grizalis is going to almost like reach out as if he's trying to grasp onto this relic that he was so desperately wanting to hold and to read and to study. Of course, he doesn't see it. He's just reaching out for it. And as he reaches out for it, you hear him say some arcane words, Harashkral, and and from his hand comes this sort of ghostly, icy, almost shadow that reaches out 100 feet and grasps one of the unassailed throng. And what he's doing is he's casting Chill Touch. And so I'm going to make a ranged spell attack.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Never mind then. I'm going to go ahead and already use my. I'm going to use my inspiration right away. So he's going to. So he's so he really he is. At first, you see the glimmer of the magic begins to fade as he kind of stumbles over his words in his sort of his panic, and then he rights himself again, and then he tries another time and gets a natural 20. Don't think that really affects spells, but it's a natural 20, and so he's going to take 1d8 damage, necrotic damage.
Yep.
And the creature cannot regain hit points until the start of my next turn. So.
Okay.
You should be able to crit on that spell, by the way.
I can't. I wasn't sure.
I didn't think so, but
it's up to you, DM.
my understanding was no. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are okay with the bad guys critting on spells, sure, let's go.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm gonna roll 2d8 then instead of the 1, or yeah, okay. Or am I gonna just double the one that I roll?
So I think for our purposes, I'll let you just double the one that you roll, but
okay.
You don't get to add the. Well, yeah, if it's 1d8, yeah, you just double it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't get to add anything to it, so there's no modifier.
Yeah, I usually do it just to keep it simple.
All right, so that's 8. So 6. Yep. So 16 necrotic damage.
Okay. Yeah. I have a question for you guys. I just clicked a button. I don't know what I did. I clicked the YouTube app on the left. Oh, I wonder if I hit the little X. Yep, there we go. Got it. There was a little X there.
Just for your knowledge, if I hit an undead target, it also has disadvantage on attack rolls against me until the end of the next turn, if it is undead.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's good to know. Okay, let me just see here. You did how much damage?
16 necrotic damage.
16,
so
nice.
So basically this hand goes and just like this ghostly, icy hand goes and grasps around this creature.
Yep.
Holding it.
Yeah, and you would see this creature kind of tense up and just almost like stand on its tiptoes a little bit because it's just tensing up so much, and it just falls to the ground.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Chen.
All right. So Chen's still in the bar at this time, but anyone who's by the door would just see essentially a streak of black go by as Chen moves his full 30 feet and then takes his cunning action to dash an additional 30 feet. So, am I close enough to see if any of these things are like zombified, or if they're humanoid, or just get a general idea of what they look like?
They have 2 legs and arms, and yeah, so they look vaguely humanoid, about the size and shape of a human.
Okay, and there's no like giant parts missing from them as far as I can tell from this distance?
Nope.
Okay. So you see Chen, and this is all just flavor, but he takes out a little pellet, and he will throw it at the group of them, and you hear him say, "Be still," and this purple smoke kind of wafts over the group as they run, and I am using sleep.
Okay. So does that target a certain range area?
What it is that I'm going to do some math here to count these numbers up. That's 10, 14...
22.
I'm sorry?
22.
19. So that's the number of HP that gets subtracted from the lowest HP among them until I've run out of HP in my pool, if that makes sense.
It does not. I'm sorry.
So I've got 19 HP here.
Yeah.
And if there's a creature with 8 HP, then that one's asleep. And then we go to the next lowest creature, and then that one would be asleep if I
Gotcha.
do enough HP worth of damage to put them to sleep.
Okay. So is it doing damage and then possibly putting them to sleep?
It doesn't do damage. It doesn't hurt them. It's just using that calculation
Gotcha.
to figure out.
Okay. So if there are any... Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So you're rolling. So if there are any with 9 or below hit points, they are now asleep. That's what you're saying?
It's more than 9. Let's see. It's...
Or 18?
Yeah, I believe that's the number we came up with. I'm bad at counting, so let's see. 16, 18... 20, actually, it's 24, 22? 22.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, sorry, I'm not familiar with this spell.
It's an odd spell. Like, for example...
So basically, I have... Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say there is someone with less than 18 hit points. That one is now asleep. And then the leftover now gets applied to the next one. Correct?
Yeah, and if it's not enough, then they don't fall asleep. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so you definitely would see one of them just slump to the ground. And, yeah. So another one bites the dust. It is asleep. All right, awesome. Anything else?
Nope. I think I've confused you enough.
No, it's all good, man. I'm learning. All right. The little collection of enemies ahead of you, again, vaguely humanoid forms, just continue to run, and on their turn they reach the clearing or reach the wooded area and disappear from your view. There are still there's one that is frozen in place. There is one that has died, and there is one that is asleep. So what a variety. Trifecta. So next up we have, I think we're back to Malaroot.
Yeah, so just for you to know, my command is no longer in place, so the other guy can do whatever he wants. So I'll run forward, and as I'm running forward, I'll be throwing one of my hand axes.
What's the range on those? Because these guys are now 160 feet away.
Okay, then. I will be casting...
Oh, unless you're going from one of the ones that's still in place.
Yeah, for the one that's still in place.
Oh, okay, yeah, so they're still 100 feet from you.
Okay. Well, can I still... If I run my full 30, can I see the guy that are at the dock right now?
So then they would be 130 feet away. So I don't know what the range is.
No.
You actually no. I'm sorry. You wouldn't be able to see them because they've entered the woods. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So the guy that's right in front of me, I'll be running towards him, use my full 30 feet, and throw my hand axe at him.
Yep. Awesome. Go ahead.
And 18.
Yep, that hits.
18, 13, 19 actually. Sorry. And hand axe 1. 7 damage.
All right.
So all you see is Malaroot sprinting forward and with both hands just lobs this hand axe right at the guy that's right in front of him.
Awesome. And you might have already said this. This is the one that you had commanded?
Yep.
Yep. Awesome.
Because he's no longer under my command.
Yep. Very cool. All right. Next up, we have Theron.
So how far away are the guys who are kind of occupied, I guess, the ones who are not running into the woods?
So they're still 100 feet away because you guys haven't moved.
They are. Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do then is use a full move, kind of run up about 30 feet, and then try this bow out again and kind of launch another one as far as I can go. If I can hit the guys that are at the woods, I'm going to try for that. But
yeah, you wouldn't be able to see them anymore. They've disappeared
Okay.
into the trees.
then I will loose another one at these guys.
Yep. You going for the one that has been commanded to stop and Carl just hit, or are you going for the one that is asleep?
No, the one that was commanded to stop, but it's going to be a 6.
Yeah, unfortunately that's a miss. So your arrow whizzes by and gets stuck in the ground ahead of them about 10 feet. All right. Next up we have... anything else, Theron?
No.
Okay, awesome. Grizalis.
Whatever you want. So Grizalis is going to have a very complicated turn. He is going to run 60 feet. There you go.
Yep.
He's done.
Yep, very good.
Hold on, I didn't quite catch all that.
Yeah, so what you're going to have to do is...
So what do you do with those die? And
yeah, you have to run the roll to run die. That's 5d12.
Awesome.
By the way, people in the comments are saying that you can crit on spells. So,
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is good to know. Yeah. Well, then, gosh, I'm glad I allowed it. Cool. Cool. That helps. Keep the comments coming, people. All right. And thank you all for watching. Next up, we have Chen.
Okay, so Chen is going to try to figure out, did they kind of scatter into the woods as far as we could tell, or is it not even...
Pretty focused.
Okay.
On one area.
Chen is going to look back and see that he's about probably a good 30 feet away from everyone else. Look at the guy that's there sleeping, and he's contemplating whether or not to question this guy or to go forward, and he sits and ponders for a moment, and then he kind of has this look on his face like, you know what, let's do it. And you see him just sprint. It's about the fastest you've ever seen an old man sprinting. And I would like to attempt to sprint quietly, if that's at all possible.
Let's see.
I'm assuming I would have disadvantage.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know if that's the rule, but you could absolutely sprint, do a stealth with disadvantage on that.
Okay. Well, that's probably not going to do anything then. That is a 4, which turns into an 11.
All right.
So I'm not very quiet.
Yep. And
It's fall when you run on a bunch of crunchy leaves.
Yeah.
there you go.
Break every twig on the way.
Yep. So I'm gonna roll. I guess they don't have passive perception for these guys. So let's. Oh, I'm gonna. Sorry. Yeah. So he sees you.
Do I see anything being 60 feet closer?
Yeah, I would say you guys can now tell that these are not human. They have very sharp teeth when they yell and cry out, and they have pointy ears and grayish-green skin.
Wonderful.
And they're wearing rough hide armor.
Sweet.
Wonderful.
All right. Next up, we have the bad guys here. So the one who is sorry, the one who was previously frozen in place and is now taking some damage is going to actually drop to his knees where he is, and he is just going to basically he just turns to you and he says, "Please, please," and he's cowering. You guys are still, I think the closest now is about 40 feet away, based on my calculations. So, yeah, he is still a little ways off, but he is injured to the point that he is not going to try to run. All right, and then the others you can't see at this point, so their actions are a secret to you. But back up to the top, Malarut. What would you like to do?
About how far am I away from the guy that's cowering on his hands and knees?
40 feet.
40 feet? Okay, so I'll use my full action towards him, so 30 feet forward.
Yep.
And I'm going to yell at him with some Modergy to not move or else we'll kill him. And that's
Okay.
the move.
Yep. Awesome. So yeah, he just, cowers even further the closer you come and kind of covers his head, and he's almost in the fetal position at this point.
You know what? And I look back to the other guys. Leave him to me. Go for the other guys. I'll question this guy.
Awesome. All right. Next up, we have Theron.
Realizing that this new weapon is not working out, he's going to kind of put it away, and seeing that we're not making enough ground, his eyes kind of roll into the back of his head, and he almost leaps out like he's going to dive just on the ground, but this monstrous brown bear is what hits the ground, and Theron's gone, and he is going to dash, because I can do that as a bonus action, turn into that, I guess.
Yep.
So I'm going to use dash and cover 80 feet on this turn to try to get to those guys in the woods.
Yep. Awesome. So you are I'll say you're just inside the forest now, and you can see that there are, these guys are in the water of the river. The river is lined with trees, and it's not very deep before you get to the river. So you can see the river now, and you can see that these orcs are now, and you would be able to know that as you passed the other ones, they are orcs, are now pushing a raft into the river, and they're still about 40 feet from you, but you can see them. All right, sweet. Anything else, Theron?
No, that will be it.
All right, Grizalis.
So, by running, I'm gonna run up another 30 feet. What am I able to see once I get up 30 feet?
So if you move 30 feet, you are now, let's see. I've kind of lost track of where you were before, but we'll just say that you are now up to these, yeah, we'll say that you are just a little bit behind Malarut, who is 10 feet from the orcs.
So am I able to? Is my vision of the orcs still like the ones? Like I don't see the ones crossing the river, or
no, you don't. You're still by the ones that have been felled or stopped.
Okay. Then I am going to I'm going to try to I'm just gonna go another 30 feet then. So I'm gonna go up to 60 feet so that I can get in view of these orcs in the river.
Yeah, awesome. All right, and then Chen.
Okay. Well, Chen is going to. I'm assuming I'm a bit closer than everyone else since I dashed twice before.
Yes.
So, and they're all on the boat now? Is that what you said? The ones that are in this area?
I'm sorry. We're up to you. Sorry, I just thought we weren't. But then, yes, we are up to Chen's.
Okay. But they're all on the boat.
They are pushing a raft into and kind of wading into the water as if they're about to hop on.
I gotcha. Okay. And am I close enough to be able to count how many there are now? Just
Have you moved? You're not moving yet on this turn, are you?
yeah, I was gonna move as for my standard action, 30 feet.
Okay. So I would say that you can now see exactly what Theron sees. This bear beside you, and you can see that there are, let's see, two pushing one raft into the water, and there are actually three pushing another raft into the water. And there are a couple other craft here as well. We'll say there is one raft and there is one kind of rowboat.
Ah. I would turn to the boat and say, I'm assuming you know how to swim. I would probably, I'm going to take my cunning actions to try to hide. And then I'm going to, let's see what happens here. That's 18.
All right.
If we're using stealth.
That's a hit. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
Yes.
I'm trying to gain surprise so that I can do my sneak.
You hit the shadows.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now I'm gonna do my. I'm gonna take out my my short bow. That's the word for it, and try to nail one of the unsuspecting orcs. If it'll roll, there it goes, and that's a 17 versus AC.
Yep, that is a hit.
Okay, and that is 1d6 plus my. I'm assuming sneak attack applies here.
Yes, it does. I think if you successfully hid there, that's my understanding.
So, whoops. One more. So 11 damage to. I would probably just indiscriminately shoot at whichever one was nearest to me.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So you have hit one in the back that is wading into the water here, and he cringes, but he's not down. All right. And next up we have Theron. No, I'm sorry. Back up to the top. No, I'm sorry. It's the orcs' turn. Yeah. So the orcs are now going to hop onto these rafts, and they kind of shove off. These rafts have long poles, and they are pushing with these long poles, and pushing their way down river here. The orcs in the field are unchanged. The one that is still conscious is still cowering. And as they're pushing off, it is just getting light enough that you can see a bit of difference. There is one that looks a little skinnier than the others, and he also looks to be wearing a little bit less armor. And but the others are wearing hide armor, looking quite burly. And they push off down the river. Next up, we have Malarut.
So, knowing of the extra orcs ahead of me, I would move the extra 10 feet to the goblin that's ahead of me. I would take out my rope and my manacles, and I would tie him down. How far is the guy that's sleeping?
So he is 10 feet from you.
As well?
I'm sorry, yeah, they were all kind of in a little cluster, so they all fell within about the same area.
Okay, just to be safe, I would tie him down to the other goblin as well. So the one that's conscious has manacles tied to a piece of rope tied to the other goblin. Then I would move the remainder of my movement forward, knowing that they're secure there.
Okay. Yep. All right. So you managed to do that. Anything else?
While I'm running, I would be casting guidance on myself, just in case I need it.
Yep. So I would say you've managed to move 10 feet and do this, and then you probably just start to take off running, but you probably wouldn't have time to run real far. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Over.
All right. Then, because there's a little movement kind of in between the orcs as they're, yeah. Anyway,
That's fine.
excellent. Next up, we have Theron.
Okay, how far from the river am I at this point?
So you are about 40 feet from the river.
Okay, so I'm going to use my move. I'm going to charge up to the river. And how far is the
Sorry, I cut out there, or maybe
closest boat from there? Oh, sorry.
How far is what?
Yeah, so if I charge up to the river, how far away from me would the closest raft be?
So the closest raft would be right there on the shore. So if you, I would say if you wanted to use your dash, you could potentially jump onto a raft.
Okay, I will do that actually.
Okay.
Charge onto that closest one.
Yeah. So this thing kind of, under your weight, goes down just a little bit and gets you wet, but it is floating, and it is just kind of sitting there. It's got slight forward momentum, but it hasn't reached the end of the dock yet.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, Grizalis.
Okay, I'm gonna take my 30 feet. So after moving 30 feet, where am I and what do I see?
So after moving 30 feet, you are into the clearing, and you see, into the woods, and you see Theron has just jumped onto the raft.
And
you can just make out the orcs in the distance. They would now be about 100 feet away.
And are they going like down river, or are they like trying to cross the river?
They're going down river.
Okay, 100 feet away. I am going to. All right, so let me just check the range on a spell real quick. Okay, let's see, that's 9, and they're 100 feet away. So I'm going to cast magic missile. So Grizalis is going. You see Grizalis. He has a wand in hand in his left hand, and he holds out his right, and he begins. You see his claws. They begin to sort of scratch out, like almost like tear the sort of the air around him, and sort of creating this rune. And from the rune comes these 3 little balls of light crackling in the dark. And he is going to so you three glowing darts. Okay. So I'm going to send all 3 towards the skinnier orc, the one who is with less armor, and so each is going to deal 1d4 plus 1 damage. So let me get the thing up. Oops. 3 roll. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 6 plus 3, 9. So he's going to get 9 damage.
Okay. Yep. Just a sec. Okay. All right. Very good. Excellent. So yeah, he kind of cries out in pain, and he looks back at you, and he says, and you can't really hear what he's saying at all, but he just kind of cries out, and you can see his mouth wide in anger. And yep, and he kind of raises his staff menacingly in response, but he is definitely kind of been shaken here. Next up, we have Chen.
Okay. Shen is going to take a moment to look at the raft and, using his best judgment, assess whether or not he thinks that it would still be buoyant if he was on it. Would you like me to roll for that, or would that just be kind of a common sense?
Nope. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You jump right on that raft.
All right, so I'll go ahead and climb on the raft. Are we... Actually, I'll probably try to push us off if I can, if it needs to get going a little bit faster. And if I'm within range, I'm not sure exactly... Yeah, that's a good question. Am I in a boat with a bear?
Yeah, Kirk, are you still in bear form? Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
Yes, you are on a raft with a bear.
As if that was a question.
Excellent. So I kind of pat the bear on the head and take out my short bow, and I'm just going to loose an arrow at the skinny guy.
So actually, if you have gotten onto the raft, you've already moved more than 30 feet. So
Okay.
it would be considered a dash. Basically, it was 40 feet to the edge of the river, plus a little more to get on the raft that is, floating.
All right. And I'm probably not going to be able to hide, so that'll be it for me.
I don't know. Bears are pretty big, man.
I'll try then. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Oop, did it do anything? That is a 19. So I am... Maybe they didn't see me get on the raft. They just think there's a bear there.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely. All right. Very good. Let's go for Theron. I'm sorry, back to Malaroot.
Okay, so the orcs are just going downstream.
Yep, they're floating downstream, and you are still a little ways off from the clearing, so you can't quite see that yet.
Okay,
But
so
you
if I move
hear
my
a commotion.
30 feet, what do I see?
If you move your 30 feet, I would say that you are now just into the clear, or just into the woods, and you can now see that. And you are now 40 feet from the raft.
Okay, do I see the first ship or boat or raft?
You can see, you can definitely see the closest orc raft.
Okay.
And I don't think you'd maybe be able to see from where you are.
Okay, then
The other one, maybe.
At this point, I would be casting Gust of Wind towards me to slow down the rafts that are downstream. So that's just a cast, if I remember correctly. What's that? Gust of Wind.
That's on page 248.
Yeah, so it's a strong wind, 60 feet long, 10 feet wide, that blasts towards my direction.
Okay, and what is the range on that?
Gust of wind is it's a 60-foot line.
Yeah, so 60 feet.
So from you?
Yeah.
So I think you could only blow it out from you, if I'm understanding you correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, then I would start making signs in front of me, and I would cast Guiding Bolt towards the raft that I can see.
Okay.
So
Yep.
50,
Go
20.
right ahead.
Thank you for not blowing the wet bear smell into my nose.
Yeah, don't be downwind of that.
Plus,
That was like 7.
yeah, so that's 18.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay, that's 40. What again? 46 damage. So plus 3, so that's 6, 10, 13, 16 damage. And I'm aiming it towards the boat itself, trying to break it apart.
Oh. Okay, yeah, awesome. I don't know how many hit points a raft has, guys. I feel like a ignoramus here. I'm just kidding. All right. No, we're gonna say that part of this raft has actually split off, and the orcs are now on this raft. This is the one with 3 on it. They are now kind of huddled to one edge of it because it's basically been split in half almost. They're all 3 on one side though, and on the other side is just kind of floating off.
Right.
Very cool. Good idea to aim it toward the boat. All right. Awesome. So you are now about 40 feet from the river. The raft is now pushing off thanks to Chen, right? And I think we are now to Theron.
And how many orcs are on our boat or our raft?
They're not on yours.
Not on ours. Okay.
This is there were basically 3 rafts and 1 kind of rowboat that is still attached to the dock, and you 2 are on a raft, and there are 2 orcish rafts up ahead, about 100 feet.
About 100 feet. Okay.
80. We'll say 80 from you.
And at this point, I'm actually just going to roar really, really loud because I can't reach them. It's the only way I can express it right now.
Yeah.
Grasping with your bare paws.
These orcs are now going to have to make a will save. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the orc on the boat closest to you, you would smell an odor as he just crapped himself. All right. Next up, we have Grisalis.
Okay, so if I move 30 feet, can I get into the rowboat?
I'm going to say yes.
All right. So you see the scholarly dragonborn leap into this rowboat, and you see that he begins as he goes to the back of the rowboat, and he takes out his wand once again, and he starts waving it. You see it starts to glow with sort of a white light. And once again, he begins to you see that he begins to whisper words to himself, and he takes in a big breath, and and you see that there's sort of this glowing energy coming up into his throat and into his mouth, and he blows out to create a gust of wind to propel his rowboat towards the orcs. So I mean, I can look at the a line of strong wind 60 feet long and 10 feet wide blasts from you in a direction that you choose for the spell's duration, which is a concentration spell, up to 1 minute. So there's no creatures in my way, so they're not going to be pushed back. They would only be pushed back 15 feet away. So yeah, that's really the stats. So really, I'm just so you can decide, like, with that gust of wind, if I'm able to sort of ebb and rude my way up to the other the rafts.
Yeah, I'll say that you do manage to overtake the raft with your furry friend on it, and you are now about, we'll say, 60 feet from the closest orcish raft.
Excellent. And let me just check one thing.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, no, that is his turn. He looks extremely pleased with himself.
All right. Yeah, cool. All right, and next up we have Chen.
You hear Chen yell out in surprise and undercommon as this rowboat comes shooting by, spraying him, soaking him. But nonetheless, he's going to kind of peek out around the bear with his bow at the ready and take another pot shot at these orcs. I would probably whisper to the bear. I'm not sure why. I'm assuming he'll be able to respond, but I would probably say, "Which one should I go after?" And I'm like, I let the moment pass, and if he doesn't say anything, I'm just gonna shoot at the skinny one.
There's just another roar.
I'll take that as affirmation. I said, I agree. That was my choice as well. 18.
That's a hit.
Am I still stealth, Nate, or do I? Do regular?
I'm gonna say. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I did say I yelled out. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably not.
Okay, I'll just do my normal damage then. I can. So as not to power game and whatnot. That is 5 damage.
All right. Yeah, very good. Okay, so yeah, he cries out in pain, and he is, this is the group that's kind of still huddled on that that fraction of a raft now. All right, excellent. Next up, we have the orcs. So at this point, actually, the skinnier one is going to he's going to try to leap out onto the raft that's in front of him. And we're going to see if he can make this here.
Acrobatics.
And let's see.
Nate, if you'll allow me before you tell me the result of that, can I impose disadvantage with my inspiration?
Sure. Why not?
Why not, eh?
How do you disadvantage? Well,
So
how
now I
do you
take big fat 20. All right, that's your inspiration, man. All right, you inspired this orc. All right, so yeah, he manages to leap, and he kind of clambers on, and he's holding on to the raft in front of him. His legs are in the water, and he's got his staff, and you can now see he has the small box. You kind of saw it as he leapt through the air. And the others are simply going to yeah, I don't think he would have an action after that. The others are simply going to keep on pushing downriver here, and so yeah, they are now going to keep moving, and they're getting further and further away. You can still see from where you are the fraction of a raft, but the other one is now pushed a little behind it and around a bend perhaps, and you can't quite see it. All right. Next up, we have Malaroot, back to the top of the order.
Okay, so if I move my 30 feet, can I go onto the raft with the bear on it?
I would say you could wade into the water and manage to swim to it. It has pushed off and it's been drifting a little bit, but not as far as the rowboat. So I would say yes.
Okay, so I do that. I secure myself, and with inspiration of seeing the good wizard do, I'll use gust of wind myself towards the back of us and push us forward as well.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so yeah, you managed to push forward a good distance here, and you've now passed the rowboat once again.
At the end of my turn, telling them, hey, you might want to make me climb on board before I fall.
As Chen gets soaked again, he goes, "Come on!"
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Yeah, and you actually spray a little bit of water onto the rowboat, and yeah, it's just like a few dozen super soakers. All right. Next up, we have Theron.
Okay, the bits and pieces of the raft we can still see, correct?
That is correct.
And is there an orc on that one?
There are 2 actually.
2. So I'm going to use a bonus action to basically end the bear form and kind of transition back, and I'm sure our raft kind of wobbles a little bit at that point. And I'm going to kind of pull out these little leaves I have, and he just kind of blows them out into the water, and he kind of looks up towards the sky, and this beam of moonlight basically comes down right onto where they are, right onto where that broken raft is, and it's about 10 feet in diameter, and it's about 40 feet high, just this moonbeam, and so they will have to make Constitution saves on their turn if they start in that.
All right. Yep. So let's see how they do on that. Whoops. I'll just roll once for both of them. And what's the DC on that? Did you say that already?
It is a 13.
Okay. And so they got a 13. Does that mean they make it or they don't?
No, so they made it, so they will take half damage as kind of ghostly flames kind of engulf their bodies.
Yeah, awesome.
So they will take... So they will take 6 to be radiant damage.
Okay. Yep. Awesome. So one of them actually at this point just falls over into the water, and you see his body floating there. And yeah, the other one staggers to his knee and cries out, "Roar!" All right. Excellent. So now there is only 1 orc left on that raft, that fraction of a raft. All right, next up we have Grisalis.
So, I'm not 100% sure on the rules here. If I'm continuing a concentration spell, as long as I don't use another concentration spell, I can cast another spell. Is that, yeah, I believe that's the rule.
Yes, you can still hold that concentration spell and cast a non-concentration spell.
All right, so I guess, like, to move this boat forward, I'm continuing that gust of wind. So how far up, how much up, far up does that take me?
Yeah, so I would say that this can take you about 60 feet. You know, I'll treat it kind of like a dash, to be honest.
Okay.
Neither of the orcs seem to have poles, but you would have noticed perhaps that to the side, out in the river, maybe even floating on the far shore, were some oars and other poles.
Right.
That they tossed out for the benefit of you guys. So I'll treat this as if basically you do have oars.
Well, what Grisalis is doing is he's using his wand as kind of like the rudder. He's kind of like he's got it in the back and he's like steering it. So as I get 60 feet closer, what are my distances between the other 2 rafts?
Right. So I would say you are now 40 feet from the 1 fraction of a raft, and we'll say you still can't quite see the other one because it's just around a bend.
Ooh. Okay. Then I'm going to try to get rid of the disc because I am very intent on catching up with this skinny orc that has the tome. I recognize that this other orc is a distraction right now. I just got to get this obstacle out of our way. So I am going to send another chill touch. So once again, my my arm extends into a sort of a ghostly hand that grasps this remaining orc on the fractured raft, and I will make a spell attack. All right, so that is only a 9.
Okay. Yep, that is a miss.
All right, so he just kind of like curses at the thing that avoids his spell-like hand. You brute! And he just continues using his little runner to try to catch up with the other raft.
Awesome. All right. Very good. Next up, we have Chen.
Okay, well, Chen can only see the one orc, correct?
Can only what?
I can only see the one orc.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I'll keep it simple, Sten. I'm going to go ahead and knock another arrow and let it fly.
Yep.
Oh! Nice.
Crit.
Yep. All right, go ahead and roll your damage and double your roll and add your modifier.
Okay, so that is 4 plus 3, 7.
Okay. Yeah, so he takes this arrow in the shoulder and winces, and he is, staggering. Actually, I'm going to say he takes it in the gut, we'll say. Yep. All right. Very good. Next up, we have... Anything else, Chen?
No, I'll probably just, try to wring out my clothes in my free time.
Yes. Awesome. All right, Malarut. Oh, I'm sorry, the orcs. I always forget. Bad guys should take actions too. Just because they're bad guys doesn't mean they don't get to. All right. So the orcs, excuse me. The one that is left on this raft is probably going to go for Grisalis because he's closest. And as he does so, he pulls out a bow and lets an arrow fly. And I keep forgetting I don't roll the real die. Thank you, Dice Stream. And he crits, unfortunately.
Ah! Curses!
So he looks angry. He's still staggering a little bit and not standing up real straight. But he's taking a shot at you. And he's going to hit for... that will be 10. That will be 13 damage. Ouch.
Yes, absolutely ouch. You see Grisalis takes this arrow straight into the shoulder, as and he looks he just hunches over and he looks really really bad.
All right. Very good. Then we have now the raft up ahead. You can't see them. They're just around the bend in the river. But you all of a sudden hear this piercing scream that just, it sounds unnatural. And it's coming from that direction. But then, from the sides to you, now we'll say it's on your right side, you see two dark shapes up in the trees, and it's getting fairly. It's a little bit lighter now. It's still early. The sun is very low, but it's just barely up, and you see these furry shapes that descend on the raft, not the rowboat, and you can see that these are primates of some kind of monkey, and they actually open their mouths as they are in the air, and you would see just their bottom jaws drop, almost as if, just these wide mouth and sharp teeth, and they scream on their way down at you. And everyone on that raft needs to go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw to avoid being deafened. So I think that would be everyone except Grisalis, right?
Yep.
All right. And the DC on that is 12.
Oh, I'm good.
All right. So let's see. Yep. Sorry, I'm switching back and forth between. All right, you guys can go ahead and put in the chat. Sorry, your total. Okay, so I guess that means that Malaroot and Malaroot made it. Theron and Chen, you are now deafened.
What?
Huh?
Come again?
Give that man inspiration.
An old man with a hearing problem? Come on now. Who's ever heard of that?
And we'll say that you will be deafened for 2 rounds. All right. And these things have landed on the craft, but they are not attacking. They have screamed at you and landed on the craft. All right. That brings us back to Malaroot.
Okay, so they're on our craft, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, so I'll ignore the orc in the other ship, and I will take out my quarterstaff, double-handed, and swing at the nearest one, hoping to throw him off the raft as I hit him. That's 13 to the DC. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I have a baby crying in the background, so I'm trying to mute. My wife is on it, don't worry. I'm not just ignoring my daughter. All right. So anyway, that is a hit.
That is a hit, so that'll be 1d8. So that will be 4 damage.
All right. So yeah, you can go ahead and describe how you kill this thing. It's about a baboon shape size. It doesn't look like a baboon, but it's about about up to your knee, we'll say, as it's landed on the craft. So what does it look like as you kill this thing?
Well, I take my staff in 2 hands and just like a baseball bat, just hit it across the jaw and make it flip off the ship and try to hit the other goblin at the same, orc at the same time ahead of me.
Yeah, so this you would see it does not hit the other one, but you've knocked it off, and you just see blood splatter as soon as you make contact with this thing. As it goes flying, blood is in the air. All right, and you've probably gotten some on yourself, your pretty little self too.
Oh, that's fine. I'm a half devil. I don't care about blood.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Next up we have
flicking it off.
licking your fingers a bit. Okay. That's gross. Theron, you're up next.
So we have 1 baboon left on our raft.
Yes, and you may have heard of these creatures before in this area. As you've been traveling south along the road, it has gotten a little bit more like a jungle. The weather has been hotter, and you now, if you're at all familiar with this area, you would know that the locals call these things screamers, and they're kind of like a howler monkey.
Okay.
All right, so I'm kind of fascinated with these, but he's going to, at this point, get his shield and spear out, but instead of trying to kind of stab at this thing, he wants to see if, basically I'm trying to knock it down, see if I can't take its legs out, get it to fall off the raft. No need to kill it if we can just get it out of our way. So, do you want me to make a regular attack then?
Yeah, we'll say you make a regular attack, and if you
Okay.
manage it, this guy's in the water. Or depending on if you crit, he's splatting against a tree.
It will be an 18 to hit.
Yeah, so he goes flying, and yep, he is off.
Okay. Get him out of our way.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of looking around still. I don't know what's going on necessarily. I guess I don't know that I'm deaf, but yeah, my senses are all distorted. I'm just kind of looking around the raft like, what is going on?
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I think I fixed the. Did I have Carl selected?
It was the
Okay.
Carl show.
Seems that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Carl show. All right. Sorry, everybody.
As always,
I always
have to
hate it
make
when DMs do that when I'm watching live games, so now I did it. Gah. All right. It's all good. And yeah, the sounds that you may have heard in the background were exactly the sound that you heard as this monkey goes flying. Yes, I did call my daughter a monkey. All right. So yeah, this thing goes flying. And sorry, I was a little distracted there, Kurt, but that's the end of your turn. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Next up, we have Grisalis.
So will I be able to round the bend?
I would say.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say you could round the bend. Yep.
Okay. Once I round the bend, what do I see?
You see that the group of orcs here is now moving toward the shore, and they're we'll say once you round the bend, they're still a good 100 feet ahead of you, but they are veering to one side in what looks like it could be a sand bank.
Okay, 100 feet. All right. Then I'm just going to go after my my old buddy, Mr. Skinny Orc, and I'm going to send out another one of these hands toward him to give him the touch of death. Well, it's not a touch of death, but it's the grip of this chilling touch to induce this necrotic damage on him. So let's roll. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a 4. So what happens is Grisalis, he's taken this arrow into his body, and he begins to, he seems determined. He gets around the bend, he sees his target in sight, and he reaches to cast the spell, but he's jolted by his nerves as the pain reaches from the arrow in his shoulder, and the spell becomes unprecise, and it just sort of like veers off into the distance as he grits his teeth, and you see these draconic teeth shining in the light.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Next up, we have Chen.
Okay, we've dispatched with the monkeys, correct?
That is correct.
Is there anything I can see from where I'm at, enemy-wise?
No, you would not be able to see. You have just seen your friend Grisalis in his little rowboat round the bend, and he is now just barely out of sight as well.
Okay.
You see a monkey splashing in the water wildly.
Ah, well, in that case, how far away is that monkey?
He is about 30 feet from you. She.
She. Okay.
Is that other orc still around? Like the one that was on the other, or was that killed?
Oh.
It should still be around.
I totally forgot about that guy. So he shot at you, and yes, you can still see him. I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. You can still see that orc. Yep.
Well, I definitely, having seen him sink an arrow into my ally like that, I would be, pulling my bow back, taking the time to try to focus my shot here.
Yeah.
Let me see. So that is a 15.
That's a hit.
All right.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that no matter what you roll here, this guy's going down. So describe how this arrow kills this guy.
Okay. So, cinematically, I would say it's one of those shots where you see the haft of the front of the arrow right in front of the camera, and as it gets loose, the camera follows just inches in front of the arrow, and you see the screen go red, and the arrow kind of pokes out the other side, the back of this orc, mere inches away, and blood kind of splatters on the screen.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, so he falls down face first into the water, and he's just floating there. Yeah, excellent. All right, then we have the orcs are now taking a turn. So Grizalis, you're the only one who can see them at this point, but they do make for the shore. There are 2 orcs that were on the raft originally, and there is now the skinnier one that has jumped on, and they are pushing up to a sandbank, and the skinny one looks back at you, and you see what he does here. He is actually just going to kind of hold up his staff, and he's going to mutter and close his eyes, and you would see his staff just begin to glow this kind of sickly green, and that's it. And
Gotcha.
they continue to run up the bank, I guess, a little bit, but you can still see them kind of running up this sandbank.
Awesome.
And next up we have Malarut.
Yeah, so I'm still maintaining my spell, my gust of wind. So are we turning around the bank and do we see these guys yet, or?
So you guys on the raft, if you are still using your gust of wind, you would also now be able to round the bend. Yes, and so you're about up to where Grizalis is, maybe just a little bit past him.
Okay, so how far away are these guys?
So the orcs are now about 100 feet away.
And how far is Grizalis?
Or actually, I'm going to say 120 because I said, yeah, anyway. Grizalis is, probably about 10 feet behind you, we'll say.
Okay. So while passing by Grizalis, am I able to touch him?
If you wanted to stop, like instead of just passing him 10 feet, I would absolutely say that you could pull up alongside his craft and reach out and touch him.
Yeah, so I'll do that, and I'll cast Cure Wounds on Grizalis.
Thank you.
And I'll use a 2nd level incantation, so take 2d6 of health.
Right.
Go ahead and roll those.
You can roll them, or I can roll them, whichever one you want.
I'm gonna put the dice in your hands.
Well, good job. That's 11 plus 3, 14.
Great.
Let's keep the dice in Aaron's hands. In Ben's hands.
Yeah, I'm back up to. I basically gained back everything that I lost, so I'm back up to health.
Yeah, awesome.
So I am.
All right, and next up we have
the arrow pops out of the wound, just like.
Yeah.
the skin. You would see it just kind of the wound just close like.
Yeah.
It puckers right up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Next up we have Theron.
All right. Now, how far away are they, or the shore, I guess?
So we're gonna say they're 130 feet.
Okay. So what I'm going to do then, and we're still in the water.
That's correct.
Okay. I am actually going to just hang out on the raft until we get closer. Keep an eye on Grizz. I mean, he's looking better, but while we're here all together, I'm not going to dash off ahead to do anything.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. And then we have Grizalis.
Great. So another use of my gust of wind. So how far away am I now to these orcs?
Yeah. So you would now be, if you were 130, you would now be. So you can move 60 feet.
Mm-hmm. So 70.
70. There we go.
Yeah. Excellent.
And
Go ahead.
technically, his gust of wind would affect us as well, so we're now 70 feet. Because it's wind behind us that's being blown.
Yeah, I would though I would say if you are
Well, no. The
holding,
idea is that the wind, like my wind, is just kind of like being blown into the water as kind of like just propelling me across the water. It's not like at my back. It's just kind of like a jet propulsion kind of thing.
right, it would be like having a motor on his boat.
Yes. So, all right. So I am 70 feet. Check one thing. That's page 242. And, okay. Everything I want to do is like 10 feet away from being able to. So I'm just
See, I
gonna
looked up
go.
all your spells, and I'm intentionally sabotaging here. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use another spell slot to create magic missile again. And now that my spell arm back in its full form, I scratch at the fabric of the universe again, bringing forth these 3 orbs, and just send both of them straight towards the guy who's threatening me with his green flame. And I will. That's just an automatic. I'll just roll for damage. It's 3d4. So he gets 6 plus 3, so he gets 9 points of damage.
Very good. All right. So yeah, and which one have you gone for again?
This is the skinny orc that's waving his staff at me.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So yeah, he staggers, and the other 2 kind of support him. He has his he's just barely turned his back to you, and but he is almost leaning on the shoulder of the orc closest to him.
Gotcha.
All right. Excellent. Then we have. Sorry, Chen.
Okay. I believe they're more than 80 feet away from these guys, I'm assuming, from where we are.
You are 130.
Okay. In that case, I don't believe there's anything I can do if
Well, could you make a bow shot at disadvantage?
I might be able to. I think it's
Yeah, I think it's 200 feet or something at least at disadvantage, right?
I think it's it's a short bow though. I think it's very close. It's
Longbow's 120
ah.
max range. You can't extend it at disadvantage.
Yeah, but I think short bow. I'm gonna look it up because I feel like
It's very, very close. I think
it's 320 at disadvantage. It's 80 feet at with normal and 320 at disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't think it was quite that much.
You've been pelting these guys with arrows this whole time.
Wrong app. Okay. Disadvantage. Here we go. And that is 10 with disadvantage.
All right. That is a miss.
All right.
All right.
But if I could, just for flavor's sake, I'm gonna pull the arrow out of the body of the orc as it kind of floats by.
Yeah.
And put it back in my sheath.
Excellent. Yeah. So his body just kind of bobs in the water as you pull, and he goes back down. All right. Excellent. At this time, the orcs are going to kind of just barely. They're going to keep running up this sandbank, and they are now out of your sight. And I think this would be a good time for a very short break. Sound good?
Awesome.
Good to me.
All right. See you guys in a few minutes.
Okay.
Let's say shoot for 3 minutes or so.
Work for me.
Hey there, YouTube. It's just you and I. I don't have to be anywhere right now, so let's just all sit around and talk about what's going on with you. How are you? I'm looking at your comments. Thank you. There's lots of nice compliments towards Nate. He's doing a great job. Thank you for all the mechanical help. Um, that's been great. Oh man, I did have a spell I could have cast, a more powerful spell I could have cast. Oh well. At 90, hopefully I'll be able to get within range.
Yeah. I didn't want to blow my second level 2 spell. I have one left, but I'm keeping that for healing prayer if we need it. Or zone of truce or something.
Yeah, that's the economy of spellcasters. It's always a matter of, do you want to?
Sorry, Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, for flavor's sake, the arrow that I rip out of his chest or arm or whatever as I'm healing him, I throw to the other guy quiver to be used again.
Oh, cool. So the other one that was inside of me pops out, you grab it, and you send it over to...
Yep.
The
Yeah.
Chen. The Chen's
Chen.
gonna. Yeah, he would do the whole catch it with one hand, put it in this. Hopefully, anyway. Let's see. Or he could roll a 1, and it actually sticks him.
It nicks you.
Doesn't count, but I'm gonna say. Yeah, I fumble trying to catch it, and it goes in the water, and I'm like, damn, that would have been cool.
I have consistently been rolling single digits on the D20. the very first roll, like, oh, it's a 2. Well, I had to use my inspiration right away, right away there.
Guys, we got 20 people watching right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's some very informative and helpful comments.
Yeah, I just responded to a couple of comments. So yeah, thanks for those chiming in with rules stuff. And yeah.
Barker
Thanks.
is just now getting in.
What's that?
Barker is just now getting in.
Ah.
Yeah.
Welcome, Barker.
58 seconds ago.
Nice. Yeah, cool. Let's see. And I will say, if anyone else has like questions or comments or anything, I might stick around afterwards for just a couple minutes to answer any questions that you have. Chat it up a bit. So just leave those comments, ask any questions you have. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for playing. And yeah, it's been fun. And I think we will soon be in some not to spoil anything, but we'll soon be in some combat where it's not just range. So sorry, it's been like all ranged combat so far.
Hey, it's been fun. It's a really nice action sequence in my mind of this like going down road. It was like a much cooler Huck Finn.
There you go.
Minus all the racism.
I don't know. People have been looking at me kind of shady. So
Yeah, a little racism at the beginning there. Yeah. No judgment among orcs. They just want to kill you no matter what you are.
That's very true. Equal opportunity.
Not even aiming at the demons, so that's fine. I don't mind.
All right, awesome guys. Shall we resume?
Yes.
So the orcs have sped up the hill, and at this time we are back. They are not in sight. Their raft is, and Malaroot. We are back up to the top of the order, I believe.
Yeah, so are we able to get to shore and dash ahead?
I would say you are able. Let's see. How far were you? Was it
We were 70 feet away.
70 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say I'll say you can just get to shore, but you can't see up the bank yet.
Okay, as we get to shore, I will tap both my compatriots beside me and cast guidance on them.
Awesome. I think can't you only do one?
Is someone that I touch.
Yeah. So I think it can only be one of them.
Yeah, we touch one. So I'll roll a d4. 1 and 2 is the bear, and 3 and 4 is the other guy.
All right.
Not there. Other guy gets it.
The other guy gets it. Sorry, I'm bad with names.
Dude who was bear. That would be Theron. The Theron, you are a half elf. Is that right? Oh, I don't hear you, Kirk. Are you a half elf?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
There we go. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So your half elven friend there. All right. Very good.
Half elf gets guidance on him for his next turn.
Okay.
Well, till my next turn. So.
And that gives him an extra D4 on anything. Is that right?
Yeah, all but save.
Yep. Awesome.
Well, if it's all the same, Chen's an atheist anyway, so it all works out.
All right. Give me one moment here. And I think next we have Theron.
So we're at the shore.
You are at the shore, a sandy bank that's about, probably about 10 feet on a slope up to a grassy area, and it's very woodsy.
If I move up as far as I can, so run up kind of 30 feet up that hill, can I see anything yet, or are they still disappeared into the woods?
So I'm saying that I think basically all of you to get to the shore, time-wise, would be the end of the turn.
Okay.
But I will say this. Hold on one sec. Because I might have something for you. Yeah. You, Theron, are perceptive enough passively speaking, to notice that there are two dark shapes behind two of the trees at the top of this little bank. But unfortunately, you don't have an action yet. So,
Yeah.
Gonzalez.
Alright. Oh, is that
That's you, Gonzalez. Yep.
yeah. Okay, so so Gonzalez is a very awkward and clumsy dragonborn. He's much more adept with books and learning and some spellcasting, but he's not the most elegant of creatures. So he's still in the water. So he's going to use this 60-foot gust to dash. He's really like intent on this relic that he gets this tunnel vision. So he speeds towards the bank of the shore and kind of just like runs the boat up the bank, and kind of using like this gust of wind, kind of just like leaps clumsily out of the boat onto the shore as far as he can.
Mm-hmm. So when the boat hits the shore, there's actually like, it kind of goes like this, and sand kicks up in front of the boat, and then you go flying off of it and land, I assume, maybe in a, oh man, I want to say in like some awesome, Matrix landing, but no.
Hey,
You land on your hands and knees, and another puff of sand goes up.
You okay, dude?
So he's a little bit further up the shore than you guys, but not much. All right. Awesome. Next up, Chen.
Okay. So just in flavor, and let me know if this is allowable or not. But Chen would like to try to run off the boat. I know we're still a bit in the water, but he's going to try to run across the surface of the water like one of those lizards, since he's so close to the shore. I'm assuming he's probably going to kind of fumble and falter towards the end of the 10 feet, but I'm not sure if you'd like me to roll for that or not.
Aren't you on the shore? If you were on the raft with the other guys, the raft has hit the bank.
Okay, so we have hit the bank. Okay.
Although, let's just pretend that you're on some other boat, because that sounds awesome. Yes, you skip across the water. No.
Right. So I'll maybe in an effort to be a bit of a showboater, I do that. I do the little running on the water trick.
Yeah.
And much like my friend here, Grizzlus, I falter towards the end and kind of go ass over tea kettle.
Yes, I would say this, as a rogue, this is a technique that you have worked on before, and it was, yes, part of your training.
I have been training forever for just this moment.
To show off.
To show off.
I do like a tumble, but then I stick to landing. I'm like, yeah. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything's fine.
The landing's at 10, but everything else is a 4.
Excellent. Oh, boy. Very good.
And I'm assuming that would be a dash, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that that's all I can do, most likely.
Yeah, so I'll say, much like Grizzlus, you're just a little bit ahead of the other guys. The movement of the boat to the shore was pretty much a dash already, but yes, you have managed to get a little bit further onto up to the shore, we'll say. All right, and that brings us to well, that's actually going to bring us back to Malarut.
Okay, so the orcs aren't doing anything?
You don't know.
Okay, so...
You would still assume that they're over the bank, although perhaps I would assume maybe Theron had maybe pointed or something.
Theron,
you think so?
Done. So, assuming that he did, I would cast Sacred Flame, I think it's called. Yeah, Sacred Flame on the tree where one of those shadows are, and try to engulf it in fire.
Yeah, so he has partial cover behind the tree. So let me see here.
The target grants no benefit from cover. So
Okay, yeah, very good then. Awesome.
So I move forward half the distance, hide a little bit, and make the tree go up in flames.
Okay.
And he'll take a D8 of damage. Wrong one.
All right.
Roll 5 damage.
Okay. Excellent.
Sorry, 3. Wrong.
3 damage.
Yep, 3.
Okay.
And did the tree catch on fire?
I'm gonna go with yes, and but it's it's not going to stay on fire. But yes, it does briefly. The bark catches on fire, and it certainly does bring this orc screaming to his knees for a moment, and now his head is poking out from behind said tree.
Okay.
All right. So, and I would say that you are probably hidden from the other one. You,
Okay.
it does not know where that came from. We'll say. All right. But the one that you have hit does now know your location. All right. Next up, we have Theron.
Okay, so I'm gonna hop off the raft, and if I move 30 feet up the hill, am I within? I mean, am I closer to these shadowy figures, or how far away are they?
I would say that yeah. It's a 10-foot height and probably about 20 feet up the slope, and I would say it's not really steep enough to be considered difficult terrain. So I would say you can make it to one of these trees if you chose.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that, but on the way by Malaroot, I'm going to kind of give him a shove, and I'm going to say, the trees are not your enemies, and run by, and then I'm going to actually cast a cantrip Thorn Whip at the guy that he kind of just scorched up there. I'm going to just get within, it's a 30-foot range on it, but I'm going to get as close as I can to him and then cast that.
Nice.
And I'm gonna roll for an athletics, see if I land on my ass or not. And yeah, I land on my butt.
Relic is
one.
prone.
We are a graceful bunch, aren't we?
Yeah, right?
Okay, so I'm going to make an attack here. And this vine, I pulled out some leaves and kind of held them out in front of me, and these vines are actually growing out of them and reaching towards this figure.
Yep.
And it's going to be a 19 to hit.
That's a hit.
And as it kind of reaches him, thorns kind of sprout out from all sides of it, and it kind of lashes at him. And it's going to deal 1.
All right.
Damage, but it's going to, depending on his size, I guess if he's large or smaller, it's actually going to grasp onto him and kind of pull him 10 feet towards me. So we're close
so he's
now.
medium sized, so yeah, he would be moved definitely. And that was the one that was down from the fire damage, or no?
Did he drop the one with fire damage?
No, I'm sorry. Down. He was on his knees. We'll say.
Okay. Yes, that one.
Okay, so yeah, he has kind of been dragged close to you. I'm going to say he's actually prone now, as he's kind of been dragged across the sandy grass here at the top of the bank. Yep. So yeah, so he cries out, and you drag him closer, and he looks up at you with frightened eyes as he holds on to his axe. All right. Next up, we have Grisalis.
Okay. So Grisalis landed a few feet ahead of everybody, and he really hasn't heeded the warnings of he's very oblivious to what's going on around him, and he still has this tunnel vision of we got to get to this skinny dude that has the relic, and so it's like what's in front of him, just like dense forest, dense woods.
Yeah, it's not super dense, but yes, it is woods, and you can see kind of long grass, beach grass type of thing.
He's probably going to, because he can't see. He leaps out in the expectation of like seeing this guy in front of him for some reason, but he's not. So he turns around and he sees that there's a battle going on behind him. So he's going to kind of like he's going to just sort of heavily just sort of walk up to the. So there's a guy that's right now like in the thorn whip, right, and then there's another guy that's on fire.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I think actually at this point you would see some sort of structure in the distance, just a little bit, perhaps like what may have once been a log cabin and some other structures and things. You can see wood, but it does not look like trees. It looks like lumber.
Gotcha.
It is rotting, mossy. Yeah. Just probably about we'll say 50 feet in the distance. Probably longer than that. Yeah, probably about 70 feet in the distance. And yeah, but you don't see any movement or anything. So, sorry. That said, the one that has been dropped is now just to the edge of the sand bank and is prone. There is another one that would be right behind the other tree, and yeah. So I don't know, where exactly did you run up the bank?
I just kind of like went forward, because I just like sort of just launched up in the air and like landed wherever I landed. So I'm assuming like I'm a little bit ahead of everybody. So I turn around. So that they said that there's the guy on the ground, and then there's the guy that had the fire cast on him, correct?
No, there's the guy on the ground. The guy on the ground is the one who had the fire cast on him.
Oh, okay. And so the other guy
one is still behind a tree, and I assume that that Theron would have kind of pointed him out, and you'd be kind of aware that there's something there.
Yeah, I just kind of just sort of dopily like walks up to the guy in the tree, like not even like running, and he just goes to like. He's trying to like just end this conflict, and he wants to get this group, his companions together to go for this structure. And he's just as soon as he approaches the tree, he kind of like, maybe the guy doesn't realize it. We can do this perfect, but he kind of like taps him on the shoulder, and like just goes to like grab him right on the face, trying to do a shocking grasp. So I'm gonna make a melee. Yeah.
If I can just stop you for a second there. He had a readied
That's fine.
action.
That's fine.
But if you want to make a stealth check to sneak up the other way, you could choose to do that.
That's fine. I'll try that.
Okay.
Not much of a chance of doing that, but it will only add to the drama.
Yeah.
So that's a 15 plus nothing, so 15.
All right. Let's see how he does. We'll roll for it. Yeah, he does not make it. So yeah, he is unaware of you as you tap as you touch his shoulder.
Yeah, so he just like so the rest of the party just kind of sees this like big 7 foot tall like dragon guy just kind of like just trying to like cartoonishly like trying to sneak up on this orc, and he just kind of reaches out his hand and like taps the guy on the shoulder, and the guy turns around and like, oh, sorry, old man, and he grabs him in the face and gives him a shocking grasp. And so I'm going to make a melee spell attack. Does this guy have metal armor on?
Let me check. That's a good question. I guess that's up for me to decide. We'll say he has studded leather.
All right, yeah. So the only reason why I asked is that I would get advantage on the attack, but so he has studded leather, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a regular attack.
Yep.
And this is a
And since he is totally taken by surprise here, I'm going to give you advantage on this attack.
Okay, cool. Oh, so I got a natural 20.
Sweet.
So that means he's going to take 1d8 lightning damage times 2, and you can't take reactions until the start of its next turn.
Awesome.
So 1d8, roll 8, so 16. So basically you see. So how does he look after this? Is he like pretty?
So you are going to kill him with this.
All right.
How
So
does
yeah.
this look?
So once again you see this lumbering bronze dragonborn just very cartoonishly like try to sneak up on this guy, but he does out of just pure luck, and he taps on the shoulder. Sorry, old man. He grabs him by the throat, and you see that he like this sort of primal rage you haven't seen in this dragon before. He like lifts him up into the air, kind of like this thing is like twitching in his arms, and as he's kind of sure like the electricity is dissipated and it's the electricity causing the jostling and not the actual life in this orc's body. He just kind of like drops him and looks over. I'll be there in a second. And he kind of starts turning towards his friends.
Yeah, awesome, man. Very cool. All right. Next up, we have Chen.
So Chen is still, riding himself from his little athletic performance there. He is watching with mouth agape as this huge dragonborn has successfully snuck up to this thing and killed it. He's like kind of muttering under his breath, going, "Not bad, not bad." Is there's just the one enemy that we can see right now, Nate?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So you would see Chen. Could I reach him in a movement action?
Yes.
So you would see Chen switch out his bow. You see him unsheathing a katana blade, which has been dyed black, and in one fluid motion, unsheath the blade and try to slice this thing. So let me roll for that. Did it not work? Oh, there it is.
No, it is.
That's 19. And yes, this is a reskinned rapier.
Yeah, I just put in the chat. I was hoping your rapier would be a katana because I read your guy's name, Chen Meng, and then I saw you had a rapier, and I was like, that should be a katana. So, perfect. Read my mind. All right.
And that is...
You hit.
That is 8 damage. Is there a nearby ally? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, how nearby?
Within 5 feet. I think he has to be adjacent to the enemy.
No, I don't think there would be.
Okay, so there's that. 8 damage.
Okay. Excellent. So, let's see.
You would see me wipe the blood off on my robe and then sheath the katana.
Yeah, so this thing slices through, and he's down. Yep. His as he falls, you hear a gurgling, and the gurgling stops, and the body slumps.
Yeah, but right before it slumps, I would go ahead and slice. Do the quick slice actually cuts his head off, and it's like a fountain of blood. Kill Bill style, just a ridiculous amount, and this thing kind of slumps over him. And then I clean the blood off my blade and sheath it.
All right, excellent, very good. Good. So the enemies are all down. Those of you who are at the top of the bank, which I think is all of you by now, would be able to see these buildings in the distance. It looks like almost like a ghost town, and it's just moss and overgrown, but you can see a few structures there. What would you like to do? And I would say we are, Well, no, I think we will retain the same initiative order here, and I will say, you could choose to move up together, or we can do the one-by-one thing. Up to you guys.
I mean, yeah, just sort of slightly out of the initiative. You know, after this like minor combat is done, this minor battle within the entire combat, he kind of you see the bronze dragonborn sort of lumbering towards you, and you know his robes wet and dirty and an old blood stain. Well, there then. And he just sort of he doesn't wait for your response and just turns around and begins walking towards the cabin.
Yeah. As you guys have been fighting, you do see in the water behind you a couple of large shapes. There are crocodiles heading your way, but they're not moving too quickly. But they have the smell of blood. And yeah. So they would be probably about 60 feet away from you still. So
I would pick up one of the orcs and throw it down the hill so the crocodiles would eat those and leave us alone.
You are a wise tiefling. All right.
Not a cleric for no reason. And after that, I'll try to sneak towards the abandoned town, telling the other guys, "Shh, let's move towards it."
Mm-hmm. So, is everyone moving towards it, trying to sneak? Is that cool?
Yeah, I guess I'll try to sneak. Like probably somebody like goes up behind, probably the arcane trickster, like goes behind comes behind Grisales, and like as he's like just walking forward, he like pulls him down, like shh, get down here. So he's like, oh, okay, yes, and starts crawling towards the cabin.
I'm gonna say that you would not need to be very stealthy to get close enough to see. So I'm not gonna have you roll. To get close enough to see that there is a large, hulking shape in the middle of this clearing, and the you see the very the last remaining orc that you knew of, sort of talking to this creature. The creature has just kind of a pale, pinkish flesh, almost reddish in the dark spaces, and it is about probably 8 feet tall. And you see, just as you are approaching, this creature, with its leg raised up, it's wearing just rags, smashes down on the ground onto an object, and the last remaining orc kind of shrieks with glee as he rushes toward this object, which has just been smashed. And you would see him pull it out and say, "A buck! A buck! Ah!" And he tosses it to the ground. And Malarut, it's your turn.
Such uneducated fellows.
Yeah. So Malarut would look around to his fellow companions and go, "I can try to get their attention away from us by whispering in their ear that there is something away while you guys sneak ahead and try to take them out. What say you?"
I can create a distraction as well. An illusion, if need be.
Okay. Can you start an illusion in the far corner away from us, and I will make it speak for us?
I could try. Yes. So you see Gonzalez pulls out his bronze metallic wand, and he has these. You see, as you've gotten close to it now, you see there's all these like these draconic arcane scratchings on it. Of course, the draconic script is very scratchy, as if done with claws. And he pulls it out, and he begins sort of waving it like a conductor. And he so you see that like he begins waving it like a conductor, and he starts whispering incantations. And these let's see, what's the so 100 a good distance behind the direction that you want to create the distraction. You said like in the corner behind them. You said so. You see these four sort of almost like fey-like lights. They're kind of like pixies, kind of like bouncing up and down. It's very floaty and rather whimsical. They come together to form this vaguely humanoid form of medium size. This shining light, and that spell is dancing lights, and I can choose to turn it into that humanoid form. Mm-hmm. So right now there's this glowing humanoid form behind them. If you want to create just sound from that object, go ahead.
Okay, so with Somaturgy, which is my cantrip for being a tiefling, I make a booming voice coming out of its mouth, going, "What have you done to my relic? You will pay for this. I am the emissary of the goddess, what was her name?"
That's a good question.
Deltana.
Deltana.
I really wish that the thing would have actually said that. Like, I am the emissary of the god. What's her name? Deltana. I am the emissary of the goddess Deltana.
What's her name again?
The goddess Deltana. Bow before her mighty wrath, and she might spare you.
Okay, so yeah, you would see the ogre turn and just go, but it's not his turn yet, and and kind of clench his fists. Oh, I said it was an ogre. Shoot, it's an ogre.
You pulled the Matt Click there.
Yeah, I'm gonna always do that, no matter how much experience I get DMing. All right. So anyway, and the orc just kind of goes, "No, no, fool!" as the ogre turns and glowers at this and growls. All right, and I think that brings us up to Malarut and Grisales, you guys kind of had some good teamwork there, so I'm going to say that was your turn. Cool.
Works for
and
me.
then
One
Theron.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that a concentration spell for Dancing Lights?
It is indeed.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. Cool. So now we're going to go back to Theron, and then it'll be Chen.
All right. Theron has at this point already. He's not that anyone would see it. He's kind of behind him because he checked on that tree that was the victim of an attack, and he's come up just behind everyone. But at this point, he's going to go into that wild shape again of the brown bear and try to stalk around the side, basically, kind of off either to the right or the left, wherever's open. Mm-hmm. And just stalk around and wait until, if there's engagement immediately, then he's going to charge in and help them. But if the rest of the party doesn't engage, he's just going to kind of watch.
Okay. I would say if you want to remain unnoticed, you should make a stealth check.
Okay.
And I think you'll probably make it.
Well, I get the Bears stats for this one. We'll see. It'll be a 9.
Yep. Okay, you're unnoticed. I got a 3.
Okay.
All right.
They are rather distracted.
3 plus something that won't equal 9. All right. Next up, we have a. Sorry, we've got Chen.
Okay. Have they? Are they clutching this tome, or have they kind of? Are they?
The orc has thrown it to the ground. He picked it up and he kind of threw it to the ground, so it's right on the ground at his feet.
Okay, and they're kind of looking away from us as a party.
Yeah, so the orc is looking at the ogre, and the ogre is looking the opposite direction from you all. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
the illusion.
Shen is going to try and run up, or use his move action to sneak up. And I'm going to go and roll for sneak.
Yep.
And okay, I actually had a plan for this. That arrow that was in my quiver that I recovered, this orc is getting one last hurrah. The arrow falls out and clangers against the ground, drawing their attention to me.
Yeah, so the orc quickly looks over, and
I'm like mid-reach, probably.
Yeah. And let me see. Yeah, and the ogre definitely kind of glances back over his shoulder in a confused manner. Sort of thing. Scooby. All right. I didn't mean for that to sound like Scooby-Doo. This guy's supposed to be scary, dang it. All right, anyway. Okay. Next up we have we have these, the ogre and orc. So the ogre kind of glances back over his shoulder, but he actually acts a little bit confused and kind of looks back and forth, like not quite sure what to do. And but he is actually going to charge at this illusion that has been created. And yeah, I'm going to say that he charges, and he is going to take a swing at it.
Can I use? Well, okay, never mind.
And oh no, you can do something if you want to.
Well, I mean, because like it says that I can as a bonus action I can move it, and like I'm technically, because that's sort of where I took my turn. I'm just gonna say for flavor's sake. I mean, if he does miss it, then I'm just kind of like bobbing and weaving this thing from its grasp.
That's exactly what happens. Yes, good.
And I'm still maintaining my camaraderie, and I'm shouting at it, "Fool, you can't hurt a god."
Awesome. Yeah, very good. Then let's have the. So the orc now is actually going to. He's not doing well. He's bleeding. He's been injured by you all, and he is going to kind of slump into the nearest structure that still has a roof. And yeah, and let's see. Oh no, I lost my bookmark. What did I do? There we go. Yeah, so that is all you would see, is him going back to the building there. And the book has been left where it sits. So now we're back up to Malaroot.
Okay, so okay, what is Malaroot gonna do? He, for flavor's sake, he's gonna cast the guiding bolt again, but he's gonna make it go around behind the illusion to make it seem like it's casting it instead, and hit the ogre.
Sure. We'll go with that, yeah.
Guiding bolt is a ranged spell attack, so that's a crit.
Wow. Okay.
So that's 4d6 times 2.
Man.
11, 12 plus 2, 12, 24, 26 damage.
Okay. Awesome. Very good.
All
So
you
yeah.
see is him make some waving runes into the air and guide these 4 bolts around the corner through the illusion and hit this ogre right in the chest.
Excellent.
And also, the next attack against him has advantage.
Okay. Man, well done. In description and damage. All right. Next up, we have Theron.
How far away would the ogre be from where I'm at?
So when you, yeah, okay. So you have kind of crept around. You're probably a little bit further from your companions, but equidistant from the big bads here. So I would say you are probably within about, I don't know. How far away do you think you would have kept to try to remain stealthy?
I probably would have stayed from where they were at the book. I would have tried to stay probably about 40 feet away.
Okay. Yep. So that's where you are.
I'm going to basically move up at this point, and I'd like to ready an action. I'd like to do, or I'm going to attack if and when this ogre basically turns around to attack the party, try to cut him off.
Yep. Excellent. So, so your positioning is between the party and the ogre.
Yes, but yeah, I'll move up to 40 feet to where I can basically cut him off if he tries to get back to him.
Right. Up to 30 feet, right? Or is your speed 40?
With the bear, it's actually 40.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're the bear. I keep forgetting. Yeah, sweet. Okay, so, yeah, so you are kind of not quite between him and the party, but you are almost there. Yeah.
Okay.
Off to the side a little bit. Awesome. And yeah, good. Then next up we have Grisalis.
All right. So I'm going to so the book is just laying out there in the middle of the field.
That's correct.
So Grisalis has this bond that says, "I will protect the artifacts of the past with my life." So Grisalis just leaps from cover and just dives on top of the book, and he's going to ready an action for the first creature that tries to come at him, or this more appropriately this relic. He's going to attack.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Then next up we have Chen.
So Chen's about to reach forward for the book, and out of nowhere, Grisalis just kind of comes barreling over and grabs the book out from him, and I just kind of let out a sigh and go, "I thought we were on the same team, man. Come on." And I'm gonna go ahead and take out my bow and aim a shot at this. You said it was an ogre, I believe. Is the orc?
Yes.
Is the orc still alive as well? Oh no, he went.
Yeah,
away.
he has disappeared into the shadows of this structure, not too far.
Okay. About how far away is the ogre?
So you moved forward, yes?
Yeah, I would
Or are
probably.
you-
Well, it depends on how.
I would
close
say at the
he is.
start of your turn, you were probably about 50 feet away.
Okay. So actually, I'm gonna go ahead and use my cunning action to dash so that I can get right behind this guy, and I'm going to take out my katana, and I'm gonna try to hamstring this guy.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent.
Let's see. That is a 13.
That is a hit.
Awesome. And
You would have gotten advantage on that attack because of the guiding bolt, but it's not important.
Oh, yeah, that's
is
right.
does he know I'm there?
So yeah, unless you have been trying to move, yeah, you wouldn't be able to remain stealthy, I guess, if you're using your dash here.
Well, I guess I was just wondering if he was just still distracted by the statue or not.
I mean, he's distracted, but he would be able to notice you for sure. Hear you coming.
Makes sense.
He might not turn, but he'd be aware something is behind him.
So you see me slide the katana out and just shink across. I'm assuming it's a fairly large creature, so across the back of its knee, or the back of its leg, to try and I do 10 damage to it.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say that he has now taken a knee, and he cries out, and is now kneeling on one knee, and blood is just spurting out, and he's grasping it with one hand.
And if I have any movement left at all, I'm actually gonna start climbing up this guy.
I would say probably after doing that, you would not have any movement left.
All right. Well, it looks like I'm going to.
Well, I don't know. Are you allowed to like split your movement, like move 10 and then move another 20, for example?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
So,
then I'll say then if you only moved 50, I'll say sure you can use the extra 10 just to kind of leap up, and you're on his back.
all right.
Yep.
Leave it to the road to always jump on the giant monster's back.
You hear me flailing around, going, "I immediately regret this."
Yeah, your feet are kind of resting on the belt of his loincloth, and one foot kind of slips in there a little bit, unfortunately.
Oh, wonderful.
Lovely.
All right. Next up, we have that would make for well, I guess it's the ogre. So the ogre at this point is probably going to make a strength check to try to toss you and stand up at the same time. So why don't you go ahead and let's see. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and we'll do opposed strength checks here against an ogre.
Well, the good news is my strength is -1.
All right.
Oh, that's actually not bad. That's an 18.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, you managed to hang on.
My foot's kind of wedged in for some reason.
Yeah, he has stood up, and now he's and you have slipped a little bit further, and you're now it's covering your entire foot under the loincloth there. All right. Very good, but you're hanging on with your arms around his neck.
Never have I actually truly. I've threatened it many times, but this is the first time I've ever put a boot up someone's ass.
Oh, God.
All right. Next up, we've got. Oh yeah, that's right. Our good friend in the building over there is now going to. Sorry, I forgot the spells were not on the monster manual. Gotta look the spells up. Not following my own advice here, being prepared with my spells. All right. So he is going to. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think he would probably go for Theron, actually, the bear, and would try to. You would kind of hear something from the from this building, which is really it's only about 20 feet from where the orc was originally standing in the book is. He's just slipped back a little bit, and you would hear him muttering and kind of a low growl as weeds and vines come up from the ground and are going to entangle. He's trying to entangle Theron here. So it says here, a creature in the area must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained. Yep. So the DC on this will be 12.
Druid battle.
Okay. So I'm going to try to rip out of these. So I use the bear's strength,
Yep.
and it's going to be a 15 total.
So you make it. So yeah, these things come up, try to ensnare you. These vines just kind of weaving through this beach grass and sand, and reach up, and you manage to kind of rip them off of you. Well, I guess yeah, you're a bear. So you manage to kind of claw at them to the point where they're not able to grasp onto you. This area is now. Is this the one that's difficult terrain? I think.
I think it should be difficult terrain.
Yes. Yep. So you are now in a 20-foot square of difficult terrain, and I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, he would have targeted this maybe away from the bear. So the bear, if he takes a step in, the ogre, if he takes a step in that direction, would be, but he's just barely out of range of that.
Would those vines have hit me in any way, shape, or form?
Where were you standing?
I'm not too far from the bear. I was within 60 feet of the ogre.
Okay, if you're 60 feet from the ogre, I'm gonna say there. No, these wouldn't have hit you because you're in the other direction. The bear had snuck around to the other side a little more. So,
okay.
Yep. Yeah, this is basically 20 feet, very close to the ogre, but certainly not up to 60. All right, very good. That brings us to Malarut.
Okay, so seeing that my friend decided to climb this ogre, I will not make it catch on fire, and I will use my last available guiding bolt, and I'll do the same thing and try to hit it through the illusion. So I'll roll a 17 plus 2, 19.
That is a hit.
And
You guys are rolling well on attack tonight.
not so much on damage, 9 damage.
All right.
And again, going through the illusion and hitting this guy into the chest away from Mr. Climbs-A-Lot.
Right. Sounds good. So yeah, you would be able to avoid him. This is a pretty big target, and so yeah, he cries out again, and he's just getting angrier and angrier, and kind of tosses his arms in a frustrated manner. All right, then we have Theron.
So is this the one who casted the entangle? Is he like hanging out a window, or is he? Can I see him?
Right. So he is. No, you can't see him. But inside, yeah, all you see is the dark shadow inside the building.
Okay.
There is a doorway. There is no window.
With the vines, am I able to get to the ogre, or are they gonna really trip me up here?
No, you were only within 10 feet, I believe, of the ogre, correct?
Yeah, to be able to cut him off.
Right, so basically you don't need to make any check, I don't think, to get through difficult terrain. You just have half speed, which still gives you enough to get to him.
Okay, so I'm going to charge at him then and use the bear's multi-attack. So he's actually going to lunge at him and claw and bite.
Finally, the bear is doing some attacks.
Yes. So
As
I'm
opposed to just looking scary.
Yeah, I am going to roar though.
Yeah!
Okay, so the bite, I'm going to kind of lunge out. It's going to be a 12 to hit on the bite.
That is a hit. Barely.
And it's going to be 11 damage on the bite.
All right.
And then I'm actually going to use my inspiration, if I can, on the claw attack.
Sure.
That follows. Feeling revved up now. Okay, so that one's going to be 23 to hit.
All right. Very good. So basically, how does your you're gonna kill this guy. How does this look as this bear bites and claws and takes down this ogre?
I can see that I've got a teammate hanging on to this thing. I'm going to try and basically lunge at its face. That's where I'm going to kind of chomp down with the bite.
Yep.
But the claw, then I'm going to try to knock him off and pull this thing into me and claw it kind of as I take it down. I don't want it to crush him,
Yep.
being how big it is, so I will let it kind of fall on me if it has to.
Yeah, absolutely. So this thing, just roars at you as you have roared. It roars back at you. And just blood everywhere. Your head would be absolutely covered in blood as this thing just crumples first to its knees, and then it's going to fall on you, and so it just falls to its knees, and then boom, and so you're kind of pinned under this thing, at least for the moment.
Is the rogue still riding the thing?
Yeah, and so my roguish friend, what describe what you are doing.
So this thing is kind of slowly falling, right? Is it? The shit is kind of falling forward.
Yeah, and you're on its back. You've been holding on to its neck, or
yeah, I'm kind of holding on to probably actually his back hair.
Yeah. Well, he's wearing a leather. He doesn't have hair, but he's wearing a leather necklace.
Okay.
So you've been holding on to that thick leather necklace.
You can see me frantically trying to get my boot free as this thing is falling forward. I'm just gonna see what the dice says about that.
You're dead, my friend.
So I'm still stuck in this thing.
Oh no!
As it falls over, and as you're well aware, when something dies, it loses control of its bowels.
Oh god!
Oh god.
So that's how I get my boot free. Yeah. And as I land on the sand, I'm just gonna kick my boot off, and it goes flying into the water. Oh, damn it, I love those boots.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Debating all of this, Melroot's gonna fall on his ass laughing and give his inspiration point away.
Excellent. All right. So now the I guess that is it for the ogre.
That was Theron's turn.
Okay. Yeah. Now Grisalis, you.
So now what's left is this asshole in the cabin, at least to my knowledge. This guy has kind of been my nemesis throughout this thing, so I'm going to... I lift myself up with the book very preciously held to my arm, sort of like a baby, and I walk towards the cabin. Do I see him as I get closer?
I'm going to say that you see a dark shape kind of skitter to the corner of this small room. It's one room.
So, from the perspective of the other players, from the other characters, you see this lumbering 7-foot dragonborn, duck down into this cabin, and then you hear it's more than just a book. And and all of a sudden you hear this crashing and this crackle as he and then light flashing from between the gaps of the timber as he lets go his breath, his lightning breath onto this orc creature.
Okay, awesome.
And also, while he does that, I let loose my divinity and max damage to all lightning and thunder attacks.
Okay, we'll go with it.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'll roll anyway, unless he needs to make a dex save if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
The DC is 12.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So he makes the dex save.
So he's gonna take half of this. Oh, so you said you're maxing it. So he's gonna take 6. He's gonna take 6 damage.
Okay. Yeah, how does this look as this lightning destroys him?
Yeah, so like I said, you all hear from within the cavern. It's more than just a book, and this crackling, and this light, this sickening blue light, comes from beneath the gaps of the timber, and you hear like lightning, and then just this lightning inside. The lightning is just pouring from this electricity is just pouring from Grisalis's mouth, letting go his bronze dragon ancestry, and just pouring the lightning onto this pathetic creature who has dared to defile a great artifact. And once he's almost like heaves as he just pushes as much energy and hatred into this lightning, and sort of collects himself, coughing, and then you see him just kind of walking out of ducking under the threshold and walking out of the cabin, preciously holding this book in his hands. But that's done. And he just
And no, go ahead. Are you finished?
oh no, he just kind of looks at his companions and like, what what are you looking at? And that's it.
Excellent. Yeah, and as you were frying this guy, you could tell that very early in this attack, he was already dead.
Yeah.
But you kept pouring it on, so to speak.
Yeah, he's probably like he's not much. He doesn't probably look anything like he once did. He's probably very charred.
Yes, and you would all smell the putrid smell of burning flesh, in addition to the kind of sweet smell of there's some kind of skunk weed, some, what do you call it, skunk cabbage, down by the banks, and so that's kind of combining for a rather unpleasant stench in the area.
Yeah, and the ozone of the lightning kind of hitting your nostrils.
Yeah,
It's a very, very, very industrial. I imagine it smells a lot like Detroit. That's
yeah. Oh, and Carl says, don't forget the ogre poop. So yeah, definitely.
The ogre poop.
Thank you for reminding us, Carl. All right. Excellent. All right. So, you have the book. There is apparently no threat here anymore. The apparition of Deltana is still there, floating there. These lights in a vague humanoid form. What would you guys like to do?
Well, first things first, I would say a quick prayer to Deltana for using her name in vain and hoping for her forgiveness, but that it was for the greater good of protecting her relic.
All right.
Chrysalis is just gonna put his wand in the air, and is gonna like do like a little whipping motion, and then all of the apparition is going to break down back into the 4 orbs that it was originally made out of, and then each one's just gonna go back into the wand, and he just is gonna like put it back into his robes.
Awesome.
Chen has a water skin, and he's frantically cleaning his feet.
Yeah, awesome. All right, do you guys want to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Seeing Chen washing his feet, I'll help him along with a little bit of guidance, tapping his shoulder, holding him, and walking away.
Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off.
I'm going to say that you guys would hear at this point the sound of horse hooves, and you would see that there is a kind of a small group of people carrying pitchforks, shovels. There is a spear and a sword among them. Probably a group of about 6 people, and you hear a voice coming from a wagon saying, "We must find them. We must. We must." and someone would probably point at you and say, "I think I see them there. Who there? Is all okay? Is all okay?"
Everything's fine. The ogre is dead. We have the book.
Okay. You would hear the voice from the wagon saying, "Oh, thank her most gracious Deltana. Oh, thank you. What's that you said about an ogre?"
Don't worry about the ogre. It is dead. The orcs are dead. Are you okay? Are you fully healed?
Oh, and they would kind of come a little closer now, and you would be able to see the old wizened priest here, sitting kind of propped up in the back of the wagon, some hay underneath him, and he says, "Oh, I'm fine. They've managed to patch me up pretty well. Amazing how resourceful a midwife can be." And one of the guys kind of smiles and says, it was a pleasure to help you." And apparently that was his wife or something. His wife is not there. But he says, we must continue our journey. We must. I won't be able to drive the wagon anymore. One of you will have to do that. But we'll go back to the inn, patch ourselves up a bit, and then we must be on the road today. I don't know if they'll send reinforcements, and we must continue our journey.
So yeah, as this sort of reunion with the townsfolk and the priest, and the priest takes place. You see he Grisales is kind of hesitant. He has this book in his hand, and he's very hesitant, and he just starts holding it up to the priest, and the priest grabs the book, and there's actually like a bit of a tug of war that happens, like fine, and he gives it to the priest again, and he starts to climb into the wagon. Well, yes, we should continue. I did learn a very interesting trick that I can do with wind now. Maybe that could make us go faster. And just sort of mumbling as he gets into the back of the wagon.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and say that that you guys managed to get back to the tiny little hamlet, patch yourselves up a bit, and you set off that very day. It is now about 9 a.m. and this all happened probably, about 6 a.m. or whatever. It's now about 9 a.m. and you set off for the White City of Marinth. As you journey along this day's journey, you move quickly, you are wary and on your guard, but you do not encounter any more threats. And it is not too long before you see in the distance the White City. Stone walls and great white gates. These gates are huge, 30, 40 feet high, and they are made of this interlacing material you can't quite see from a distance, but as you get closer, you see that the whiteness comes from bone and tusk. And you would probably know that the white gates are actually adorned with mammoth tusks. Mammoths are extinct in this region, but you would see that. And as you kind of go up the hill here, you can see on the left-hand side to the south, you see a lake. The city is on a lake. And as you near the gates, they part and let you in. Apparently, they seem to know who you are, and you are welcomed as you enter. So, what are you doing as you walk through the white gates?
Well, I am keeping a close eye on the priest, making sure that he is not falling into death. And If he does look like he's about to die, I will cast a cantrip of Spare the Dying, just in case, while crossing the gates, asking the guards where we can find the High Priestess, Elaine.
Yeah, and I think that probably Odaris, the priest, would say, "Don't worry, I know where she is. I know. We'll go to her straight away."
Yeah, Grisales for him is returning home, so this is a welcome sight. He seems a little bit more, perhaps, relieved than the others, and maybe as the other companions who are not perhaps from the city are like looking around at the wonder of the looking up at the walls and the wonder of the gates and all the people. He just kind of looks at them and mumbles under his breath, "Oh, bloody tourists." And he just continues to walk along to his companions and does as he is told.
Farron's kind of taking everything in, and he's looking at these gates, having never seen anything even close to this, but at the same time he's kind of keeping an eye on the Dragonborn, who seems to have some attachment to this item, maybe beyond what everybody else has. So, but he can see a little bit of relief in the Dragonborn as they enter the city. So,
and this is also home for Chen. It's not his birth home, but it's someplace he spent a lot of time with, weaving his little web of deceit and trying to rise to power. And seeing the gates reminds him, seeing the bones of these now extinct animals reminds him of those who he will someday make extinct as well.
And also, while crossing the gates, I go to our good roguish friends and I whisper in his ear, "Contact your contacts. I'm looking for the murderers of my wife." Much gold is in any knowledge of this.
And I would turn and say, "You and I share a similar story, my friend. I believe we seek the same people." And you would see me doing, mumbling something into my hand, and I'm actually doing message. I'm doing a thieves' cant through the message cantrip. Just letting people know that I'm back.
So anyone who, I guess probably, Malaroot, you'd probably hear some muttering, something you couldn't understand, but yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward a little bit. You have given, you have gone straight to the cathedral, and it's this great white cathedral, and it has a blue dome on it and a spire, and this is the Deltana is the patron goddess of this, or patroness, whatever, of this city of Marinth, and so this is the largest kind of religious structure in the city, and you have brought the this book to the High Priestess, who they call Mother Elaine, and I'm going to briefly show you a picture of her in a second. And you have handed this over, and after kind of getting cleaned up a little bit, they've given you, you're bloodied and dirtied from the road. They've given you a, and no, that is not Adele, by the way. No, it is not. Mother Elaine has ordered you to be, taken care of and fed, and a couple hours after this, she requests that you gather out in front of the cathedral, and as you do so, a crowd is gathered there, and she. Sorry, I need to get some water, guys. I ate popcorn. Be right back.
That's fine. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
What did she do? What does she do?
Uh,
Does she do a little striptease?
yeah, yeah. She's actually a hired stripper. You know, she's doing the whole naughty nun thing.
Starts throwing some coppers down on the ground.
She's probably just gonna like just burn the book. Like,
So as you see her, she is actually dressed in all white, and completely head to toe. You can see a bit of her hair, and but she looks again surprisingly young. And the statement of of Odaris that she is a half or a third, you would think more likely a third his age. And yet, as he has told you, somehow Deltana favors this priestess, and she has some special relationship with the goddess that that no one else has seemed to have for a very long time. And she is calm and commands an authority. And she doesn't speak much, but as the crowd gathers, you have been cleaned up and you're all wearing fresh, clean white robes. And you are standing near her. And she speaks and she says, I would like to thank these brave people who helped bring this great relic back to us. I have had a look at this relic. It is indeed as you have heard. It is the Song of Deltana. And everyone kind of, you hear this hush fall over the crowd. The Song of Deltana. And people are whispering and wondering. And yeah, this, I guess Odaris would probably be saying something like, it may be true after all. Perhaps it does contain some lost histories of Deltana. And then a hush falls over the crowd, and she actually begins to sing. And the song is something like this. Ile ore lemosa inethrunsa ile. And this, she repeats it once again. Ile. And the crowd, as she continues to sing this repetitive verse, the crowd is just completely hushed. And you begin to feel actually a vibration in your chest as she is singing. And you can't help but kind of close your eyes a little bit. And the vibration kind of radiates to the rest of you, and it's almost as if you have become a symbol that someone is beginning to pound very slowly. And the priest Odaris all of a sudden nudges you, and you kind of, you all three, he goes, hey! You all three snap out of it, and you notice that the other priests that are standing up front here as the crowd is gathered, there are several other priests, they have pulled out books and they're beginning to write very feverishly with quills, with charcoal, with whatever they happen to have on them. And he kind of motions for you to come over. And as you look in the book, you can't quite see what they're writing, but he says, This is the history of this world that we never knew the beginning of. And he kind of keeps walking, and he motions for you to follow. Do you follow?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Grisales wipes tears from his eyes, and he begins to he collects himself and just follows, like, just with great eagerness.
My first question is Deltana with her alignment.
Deltana is neutral.
Neutral?
Yeah.
Okay, so neutral good or neutral?
Just straight
Neutral.
up neutral. Yep. True neutral.
I will follow everyone if they all follow, but I will be at the rear.
Yeah. All right. And so he motions you. He kind of has stopped at one, and he looks down at the book, and he says, as one is writing, and they're almost in a trance as they are scribing, and the song is continuing, and everyone else seems kind of in it. But Odaris, the curious mind of this old kind of absent-minded man, has managed to snap out of it himself, and is so curious that he's watching while everyone else is pretty much trance-like. And he motions for you to, he says, This one's telling a story I've heard before. This is us. This is our journey this past week. This is us. And he looks down and his eyes widen and he says, Now this I did not foresee. This is your future. And that, my friends, is where we will end this journey. Thank you guys so much for playing. That was awesome.
That was really good.
Thank you. That was great.
Fantastic.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to see if there's any comments here we can answer. If you guys have to run, I understand, but
Good.
Stick around for a bit.
I can stick around.
Cool. Cool. Sorry to leave you guys on a cliffhanger and not tell you your future.
Yeah. I'd rather not know. Like,
Yeah, I'm 79 years old. I'm pretty sure I know what's about to happen.
You're going to die.
But will you have your vengeance first?
Yes.
All right. Let's see here.
To our good druid friend, the next ale is on me for burning that tree.
Who said that?
I did.
Okay. Oh, man.
I also love nature, but sometimes sacrifices have to be made.
Yeah.
Just really bothered me. I'm sorry.
I see a couple questions, but now I don't see them anymore. Oh, I should go newest first. That would help.
Yeah.
Oh, Kirk, you are baller. I don't know if you saw that. Tim Carney says you are baller. Playing in comfort, lounging on your couch. There was a time there when I could only see the top of your head because you were just.
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing, but I kept looking back at the screen, and I was like, oh, geez, I gotta lower the laptop.
It's all good, man. You were up there for your turn, so. Okay. I don't see the questions anymore that I saw in the chat. I wonder if that was just in chat.
Well, I found questions.
Okay.
Well, I guess you already answered one in the comments, but let me see. Anyway, well, some person, Zachary Melendez has asked, how long have you DM'd?
Oh, so the first time I DM'd was about 6 months ago, and I think this is probably the third time I have ever DM'd 5e, and probably about my, I don't know, I'm guessing here, 10th time running a game. So, yeah,
Cool.
I probably do it about once a month, once every 2 months. So it's fairly new for me, but I've had, I'll tell you what, folks, there's so many good YouTubers out there that, like Kirk and some of you guys, and many others that have been a huge help. My Provoker buddies out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, been a huge help. So not too long. Oh yeah, I see the questions now. 2, as a relatively new DM yourself, what do you find most challenging in creating and running a session, and what in general advice? Oh boy, most challenging. I'll let you guys answer this too, because you guys run games. But I think for me, it's just the process is still not honed I spend a lot of time just kind of, I'm kind of ADD with it all. So it's like, oh, I'll create this NPC, and then like, oh, I'm gonna like create a little bit of this like city, and then like, oh, I'll use this enemy, and it's like the process for me is not very focused. So that's my biggest challenge, I think, and kind of keeping track of the mechanics, but also trying to give it life and flavor can sometimes be a challenge if I get too focused on like, okay, mechanics, yeah. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Biggest challenge as DMs?
Me from 3.5, I have in DM 5e. All the list of spells mainly, knowing what they do as a DM.
Yeah.
But minus that, like the guys who are using the spells should know what they do, and as a DM, you have to trust them.
Yeah. Yep.
I've never run a D&D type game, either Pathfinder or 5th edition. I've only run in those kind of games, but I've run a lot of other types of games like Call of Cthulhu, Song of Ice and Fire, some other like indie stuff here and there, and just different types of things. And for me, it's always a matter of the biggest challenge for me is the mechanical part, the rules, and I'm really good at at least I feel that I'm good at like creating story and creating and world building. Like that's my favorite part is like I can world build and create story and do all that easily and have a good idea for plot. But for me, it's just like. It's not like hard for me to like do the mechanical part. It's just like it's a chore for me. Like some people like really like that, like statting out things and making stat blocks and all that kind of stuff. For me, that's the sort of the necessary evil of of running a game. So that's my biggest challenge.
Yeah. Yep. How about you, Kirk?
Oh geez. For me, it's like I don't know. I read and watch videos on like different methods all the time. So for me, it's not trying to not like adopt a new method every single week. Whether it's for prep or whether it's for something else, I've got to like tone myself down because I used to do that a lot. Where like, all right, this week, I learned how to really do it right this time, and so I do everything totally different, and then the same thing would happen the next week. So just like picking and choosing the things that work with kind of the way I do it, I guess, would be my biggest challenge.
Yep. Yep, I hear you there. And Carl?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same thing. As far as that goes, also coming up with an idea for an adventure that doesn't feel prepackaged or that doesn't feel like a one big trope is something that I try to avoid a lot. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you get into it and you're like, well, this is a good idea, and then you think, wait a minute, this is just a Game of Thrones storyline, or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely a little tricky to try and also definitely finding a voice. DMing a game for me is almost like stand-up comedy. You have to find the thing that is your voice, that is kind of unique, that's your style. And being new to that, I'm still trying to discover that myself. So that's kind of a interesting process, jumping all over the place with different styles and seeing other people's styles.
Yep.
What I've noticed with older DMs as well, I have a good buddy here that we play often. His style is he has this one NPC that just keeps coming back. Whenever you're in jail, he's in there with you and you have to do strength checks, see if he's going to rob you or anything, and see if he's going to help you or not, see if he's going to get you out of jail. He's sometimes the guard with the same name. It's just, that's who he is. I have another one that plays as a judge, and he helps the characters, but he'll also steer in the way he wants, which I don't really prefer. I'd rather make our own decisions, but he's also DMing a bunch of brand new guys, so I can see his point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I definitely favor steering in one-shots, but in campaigns, it's nice to give a choice. Yeah.
I mean, it's always good to create elements like for one shots. If you are, because one shots tend to have to be a little bit railroaded, or at least like focused. I guess would be might be the more, the better word there. Yeah, I think it's great to like add elements that force you to kind of take that route, but don't feel too like it doesn't feel like the GM is telling you, well, you have to go down this road, or so it's like creating a river that people have to get so that's like those are like great like little natural elements that allow people to kind of be focused in a certain sort of path without feeling told what to do.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Because it's like the strategic thing to do. Like the strategic thing to do was to follow them down river. Yeah. So there was a. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yep, absolutely.
Well, there was another part to that question, which was we kind of covered it. What general advice would you give to others who might be hesitant of DMing? So maybe how did you sort of psych yourself up to run a game?
Just do it. Practice on friends. Yep. The first time I ever DM'd, I had called up a friend in Seattle. We were on Roll20. It was like, let's figure this Roll20 thing out. I ran the Pathfinder beginner box for one player. He made it into room 2 and died.
Yeah.
And it was great. Will, you're out there. Thank you, man. And then it was like, then the next one was Pathfinder beginner box with 4 friends, and the next one was like, running mini encounters for my 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Here's a skeleton. Let's do it, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, just practice here and there, and yep, go for it.
3.5, my first time DMing, I accidentally killed one of the level 3s that I had with me. He had just came back into the group after having his child, and came in, put his miniature on the table, $50 miniature, and he died. And just like, oh.
And now his brother is here.
Yeah, his twin brother is
Revenge
down
him.
here. His name is the same, except backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess for me it was always a matter of like the reason why I DM'd or ran games that I wanted to run was that's the reason, like I wanted to play certain types of games that I didn't see like other people were playing, I didn't have the opportunity to play in. So it's like I really want to play Call of Cthulhu, so I'm going to start a Call of Cthulhu game, and that's like for me what was my motivation, the thing that kind of like pushed me into doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe my motivation is usually to DM a game is I think of a normal campaign or specific campaign, and I just like, I haven't done something like this. Like starting into a swamp and having fays around you, having to either join them or kill them. You have 2 camps and pick a side and decide. Like one of my buddies is trying to get me and him to DM a 5, but I'm not totally ready for it, of this one city divided by a river, and you have good on one side, evil on the other, intertwined market. So they still have to work together, but you see what happens when it happens. So, little things like that. The plot that you want to make is usually the one that you'll DM.
Yeah, I started out of necessity. Nobody else would DM in our group when we first started playing, but you just have to do it, I think.
Yeah.
It might not be pretty, but you're never going to run the perfect session. I think people that are brand new put way too much pressure on themselves. And once you do it enough, you realize like it's not a big enough deal to put that pressure on. I mean, you want to have fun, but you understand basically that you can.
Right. Well, you're also not responsible. I mean, it's not necessarily your job fully to make everybody else have fun. You know, I mean, like you can do things like to push people in that direction, but I don't feel like the it's something that I try to provide something that's going to be entertaining, but it's not my it's not my job for people to get into the spirit of things. So there's only so much I can do to provoke that. So just focus on your job, which is knowing the system, knowing what to roll when you have to, and if you don't know it when it comes up, just breathe and look it up or make something up, and and I think that's the best way to approach it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, do you guys have anything else you want to say before we call it a night here?
I was just gonna say, if you've never run a D&D game, if you've never DM'd before and you want to DM, do it now. That's all I gotta say, man. Because you won't regret it. You won't regret the mistakes you make and the maybe the long protracted silences that are caused at first. But you can only get better. Looking back at your old stuff and laughing is always fun. You learn a lot from recording yourself, and it's a great community we have here. People are really super supportive and awesome. So it's excellent. It's the best time to start is now.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, Aaron gave a plug for the RPG Brigade After Dark. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a lot of us met through the YouTube RPG Brigade, but this game was arranged, and that's the Facebook group too. This game was arranged mainly through the Tabletop RPG one-shot group, which you can look up on Facebook, and jump in, head first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. Make sure. Thank you guys so much for playing, and you guys were awesome. You guys knocked it out.
Thank you.
Amazing descriptions, and just had fun with it, which kind of took a little pressure off me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And make sure you check out these guys' channels, which I am going to actually put. They mentioned at the very beginning. I'll put links to into the description too, sometime tonight or tomorrow. So check out them links. Visit these guys and support them. And yeah. Thanks again, guys. All of you watching out there, thanks so much for sticking with us. And everybody take care. Happy gaming.